Welcome to the Get the Stepping podcast. I'm your host S2, and we about to get the stepping, get the stepping, get the stepping. Hey, yo, I before we get into anything today, I want to get into a little food for thought for you guys. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Be sure to hit a like for the algorithm. We have a great stream today. We about to hit it. This Oprah interview Kamala Harris a few days ago. I didn't even know it, but then I saw it on my my YouTube stream type stuff, my YouTube algorithm, and I was like, yo, we should watch this. So I'm about to watch it, react to it, see what happened. It's like an hour and 33-minute long event. But before that, I actually want to talk to you guys about the food for thought. So when I first got into politics, I voted in the first election back in 2016. So 2016, I voted for Hillary Clinton. 2020, I voted for Trump. So in 2016, when I first got into the election, I was like 17, 18 years old when I first got into it, as far as learning the politics of things. Actually, I was like 19, 20 years old. I'm tripping. Like 19, 20 years old. So when I first got into politics, my first understanding of politics was as far as the Democratic Party, just always being on the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? I was raised in the inner city. I was around, my whole family pretty much always voted Democrat. Not that anybody was technically like so knee deep in politics or very political, but it was just like my family voted Democrat. That's all you hear in the Democratic. I mean, as far as in the inner city, you just hear about the Democratic president. It's like a given. That's who you're going to vote for. Anybody watching this is depending on where you're from, you probably can relate, right? So when I grew up a little bit and got time to vote for the first election, which was back in 2016, which, like I said, I was like 18, 19, 20, one of those at the time. I don't know, somewhere between there, 18 and 20. So with me being, that age, I'm, first just going on what I initially thought, which was initially just to be, exactly with the side of things that I initially did. My bad, y'all. Make sure I got everything right. Okay. Initially just to go exactly with, how it always been, which is it always been, Democratic Party. And that was Trump versus Hillary Clinton. And, Trump was like labeled racist and all that. But what I'm getting at is my life changed when I was working at this car dealership. I was cleaning cars, and it was these two guys I was cleaning cars with. I was a car detailer. So cleaning cars with these car detailers, they ended up, one of the guys in there, they ended up always listening to like a Republican podcast, or like it was like Alex Jones, and he listens to Alex Jones heavy, but then it was like a few other people that he listened to as well. But I would be like, yo, why are you listening to this? Like me and this other cat, like we like, well, why are you listening to this? Why are you listening to this? He was like, well, you always just want to hear at least what the other side thinking. That way you're not falling like a trap to just the system, or a trap to what people are telling you. You got to have two different opinions and then pose your own opinion. So prior to meeting bruh, I never even heard of that. This is like after I dropped. So I was like 19 years old. I had never even thought of the idea as far as listening to somebody else's opinion, because I was like, why even give them a consideration when I know I don't agree with them? He was the first person to like actually install that belief in me and install that awareness in me, right? Because I feel like a lot of us in this generation, a lot of us just growing up, this is a water cup. I had some canes the other day, so I just saved it for a good little water cup. Anyway, so I ended up, a lot of us in this generation, I just feel like we hear one side and we just only want to see that one side, and it's not even our fault, right? Because when we think about it, when I was in high school, when I was like heavily in social media, before I knew what social media was, so I took like a long break from social media because I didn't know what social media was until I got into until I got into the until I got into I took the break and then came back to social media. That's when I figured out what exact social media was. But anyway, when I took that break on social media, that's when I learned out what it was. But before that, I would just fall victim to my algorithm. So whatever my algorithm showed me, I believed it. And that's why in this day and age, it's so important to trick your algorithm. You have to literally trick your algorithm. You have to train your algorithm to think like you. If your algorithm thinks like you, as far as if your algorithm only shows you one thing, then you're actually falling victim to your algorithm. But if you want to trick your algorithm, you have to look at two different topics. That way you'll see both sides, and that way you can pose your own point of view. I feel like that's a very crucial thing in this day and age. We have to be able to choose both sides and then pose our own point of view. So that's the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away from this episode. And I say that to say, yeah, we are about to watch, Oprah and Kamala Harris. I'm not just going to focus in because I voted for Trump on the last election, and I'm just about to vote for Trump this election. Nobody has my vote, even with Kamala. Like, I'm not just voting for her because she's black. Trump, I'm not going to vote for him just got voted for him before. So I feel like that's the main thing that it's about to get to. So this being said, I know you guys are ready to get into it. We're about to go ahead and hop right into it. I'm not going to take too many interruptions, too many breaks. Let's get into the Do They Like Us segment of things. This is where we break down the back and forth of this 2024 presidential election, right? So Kamala did her first interview. Let's check it out. Let's see what you guys think. Go ahead and hit a like for the algorithm. And you know what I'm saying? Let's get to stepping. All right, here we go. It's pretty long. We're gonna let the whole thing rock out. Hour and 33 minutes. Like I said, I do my best to not interrupt too much. But that's what y'all here for. Y'all here to watch it. So let's do it. Let's break it down, dissect it. Let's do what we do. So buckle up. We're in for a stream today. Let's get to it.
Harris Ball 2024. Let's go.
Watching it front and back, y'all.
Tonight, we're calling on people from across our great country who are fired up for Vice President Kamala Harris.
I know a lot of y'all came for the Diddy stuff the other day. I appreciate y'all tuning in for the Diddy stuff. We got to get to the things that matter. We can't be distracted. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to distract us with this.
After an electrifying Democratic
but we're going to get to the Diddy stuff again.
National Convention, Kamala Harris raised record-breaking campaign donations, became a viral sensation, and then the world watched her step into her power and dominate that debate.
You're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me.
Ooh. In an unprecedented surge, grassroots coalitions have organized in lightning speed, creating a tidal wave of support.
Black women, were you in the meeting last night?
It all started the night Kamala Harris announced her candidacy. Advocacy group Win with Black Women, a collective of thousands of black women leaders from around the country, founded by Jotega Edie, hosted a Zoom call to support the campaign. Within hours, they raised $1.6 million and had so many people on the line, they almost broke Zoom, y'all.
I was on Zoom with 44,000 other black women who are all focused on getting this woman to the White House.
Win with Black Women was the original spark that inspired over 100 other groups to organize their own Zooms for Kamala, like Win with Black Men. White women answer the call. White dudes for Harris. Jewish women for Kamala.
Be the badass Jewesses that I know you all are.
Comics for Kamala.
She is the president America needs.
Swifties for Kamala.
First of all, I am a Swiftie.
Even cat ladies for Kamala.
Come on, cat ladies!
Tonight, for the first time, we are uniting all the groups together in one place with a single purpose.
Real quick, I think they take a different approach to things. They take a different like those different group approaches to things as far as these groups are uniting. You don't really hear that too much with Trump, right? It's just like Make America Great Again, and it's just the black people for Trump, and then they don't really say whites for Trump, but that's a given. So when it comes to Kamala, it's all these different Latinos, blacks, women, Jewish, all these different ethnic groups and communities all for Trump or for Kamala. That's an interesting approach. It's a really interesting approach. I'll say that it's an interesting.
Elect Kamala Harris, President of the United States.
Thank you. God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
Oprah looking good in her orange though. Shout out to Who Dey.
Boy. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
They're in Michigan.
Everybody on screens, thank you. Thanks for joining us for this very
crazy.
special event. Unite for America!
Well, that's like some Black Mirror, like some Black Mirror stuff. The people on the screens.
And that's exactly what we're doing live tonight, uniting from Farmington Hills in Oakland County, Michigan. We have 400 people in our audience and thousands more. Hello, all of you on screen. Hello, everybody on screen.
That's crazy. I like that.
Thousands more joining us on screen. And I am here because I care deeply about the future of our country. And I know that all of you do too. You care about the future of our country. And we just saw on this tape this grassroots, people-powered movement behind Kamala Harris has unleashed a unifying force unlike anything we've seen in politics in a very long time. And I know lots of people are feeling it because it actually is hope and joy rising. And there's been a, can you feel it? You can feel it. You can feel it. You can feel it.
All right, so real quick, let's check the demographics in the audience, right? So just peeping the demographics in the audience, what I'm seeing is, of course, a lot of women, but as far as men, I'm seeing lots of older men in the audience. I'm just saying what I'm seeing just right off the bat. I'm seeing a lot of older men in the audience. And when it comes to women, it's women of all ranges and as far as age range, all nationalities. Men, I'm seeing a lot of older men. There is black men in there, of course, but I'm seeing a lot of primarily white men in there. And that's just what I'm seeing fresh off the bat. So we're going to see what that means.
We can feel it. We can feel it. We can feel it. We can feel it. There's been so much talk. There's been so much talk about that word joy. And I think it's such a good thing because it means that there is a real feeling of optimism and hope, making that comeback, as Michelle Obama said, for this new day that's no longer on the horizon. The new day is actually here. We're in it. We're living it. So let me tell you how this event began. I was on the phone with Jotaika Edie, founder of Win with Black Women. We're going to be talking to her a little later on. And we were talking about all the groups inspired by Win with Black Women who had 47,000 women on one call 3 hours after Kamala Harris announced that she was going to be running. 3 hours afterwards, 47,000 women were on the phone.
47,000.
And Jotaika and I were talking, wouldn't it be great if we brought all the groups together? Because that phone call inspired all the other groups. And so we said, wouldn't it be great if we brought all the groups together at one time? And that's why we're here. So we have the Cat Ladies for Kamala here. Rural Americans for Harris. Caregivers for Kamala. Train lovers for Harris Waltz. I didn't know there were train lovers. Train lovers. Chefs for Kamala. Love that group. Republicans for Harris, love that group even more.
See, this is what I talked about. I haven't watched this, but that's what I talked about. Like, it seemed like he got different groups. And real quick, back on the demographics of this, I'm seeing that there's a lot of like the guys that are in the audience. They seem like I don't know, like they don't seem like guys. Like, I mean, they seem like guys, but I'm just saying they don't seem like they just seem to be cut from a different kind of cloth. I don't know.
We've got Swifties. Where are you? Swifties for Kamala! And in addition to thousands of you all who I am just meeting here tonight on screen, I see some faces I recognize. There's Brian Cranston. Hey, Brian.
Hey. Hello, hello, hello.
Where are you? Brian Cranston! I hear Chris Rock is in the house. Chris, where are you? Chris Rock is in the house.
Every time I see Chris Rock, I think of the slap. Every time. Bro, slap, look at that cheek right there. Right on that cheekbone. He got smacked.
Ben Stiller, Jennifer Lopez, Tracy Ellis Ross. Jennifer Lopez! Where are you, Jennifer? Yes! Tracy Ellis Ross, where are you? Tracy Ellis, where are you on the screen? Tracy Ellis. Julia Roberts, where are you? And Miss Meryl Streep is in the house.
I can say that the Democratic Party has always been great at grabbing celebrities from all walks of life, grabbing all celebrities and making them, you know, come together and centralized under one candidate or, under one person. All of them do it, right? The Republican Party, they do it, but I feel like the Democratic Party has always been better at it. So I'm not saying that the Republican Party doesn't do it. We all know that they do it, but I'm saying that the Democratic Party has always been better at it, and I feel like that's why a lot of Black people and a lot of youth and a lot of just people that are tapped into entertainment culture and that really follow entertainment culture. I feel like that's why a lot of them are really that have always voted Democrat and have always been Democrat, because that they do it better than the Republican Party. So I'm not saying that they don't do it. They both do it, but they do it better. And I feel like that's why they always have grabbed the just common vote when it comes to Black people, when it comes to also people that are tapped into entertainment culture, because you got people that are, you probably look up to from an entertainment perspective, not saying that it's right or wrong, but people do it, right? So the fact that they do it, the Democratic Party is better at grabbing those people and, grabbing support from those people and grabbing their audience.
So glad to have all of you familiar faces and those of you who are not yet familiar to all of us. Okay, Brian, so happy to have you here tonight. Brian Cranston, what do you want to say? Why did you want to join us here tonight?
I'm just smiling from ear to.
That being said, though, in modern era, the Republican Party has been better at grabbing the non-traditional media, right? I mean, just from my observation of things, the Republican the Republican nominees and just that party has been better at being more untraditional, especially since Trump came in office. Been better at being podcasting and just stuff like that. Whereas like the Democrats has been like more with the establishment, kind of actors. Actors got unions and associations, and you scratch my back, I scratch your back, whole bunch of different stuff. I'm not saying that they don't have it on that side, but I'm just saying that they probably got more connections on that side. We don't know them, right? We really don't know.
Ear, Oprah, I have never
But I got a feeling
felt this much joy and optimism in a campaign in a long time. So I'm just so appreciative of Kamala to be able to bring back that sense of optimism and to squash the cynicism and the vitriol and the rancor that just seems to be floating all around Washington. And I hope that we're going to ride this wave into Washington. I'm here to support. I can't be happier than this candidate. I think she's going to be a terrific president.
Thank you, Brian Cranston. So, thanks, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from London. Chris Rock, so it's the middle of the night there. You're the one who told me, remember, Chris and I ran into each other this summer, and Chris, no matter where you meet him, he's funny. He goes, there's going to be weeping in the streets. Are we ready for the weeping in the streets? When Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States of America. Weeping in the streets. What do you want to say, sir?
I've always been a fan of Kamala, even back when she was running for, I remember writing her a check when she was like the district attorney for something. Maybe it was to get out of a parking ticket or something. But I've been writing her checks for a long time. And I just want to bring my daughters to the White House to meet this Black woman president.
That's a reason. That's a reason.
That's a reason. I think she would make a great president. And I'm ready to turn the page, man.
Yeah.
All the hate, the negativity, it's got to stop.
Yeah, we're so sick of the negativity. Thank you so much, Chris, for being up this early in the morning in London. Thank you. Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller, I heard you were on the comics for Kamala, and so I want to know where all the comics.
Yo, what's popping?
Kamala?
They were, and I didn't outdo anyone. I was probably the least fun of all the comics. But it was really, I mean, it was great though, because everybody was so energized. And I mean, I got to go to the convention and see her speech, which was just incredible, and feeling that energy, feeling kind of going from a stop Trump mode into a go Kamala mode, people starting to, really hear what she's about. And, I have a 20.
I can say, just speaking, what I'm saying, like I said, I'm gonna keep it a buck. It has been a difference from the standpoint of like people voted for Biden because they hated Trump, whereas people are voting for Kamala because they like Kamala. And that's a whole different dynamic right there, right?
18-year-old daughter, 19-year-old son is going to be voting in his first election. My daughter's, her reproductive rights are incredibly important. Standing up for.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. And I think
standing up for.
Yeah, I think.
Why do people say like reproductive rights, like the government like, about to take away? I mean, I guess like you kind of, but they're not really taking it away. I mean, I don't know. They just make it sound like the government like controlling who you have sex with and who you do everything with. That ain't really the case. I mean,
what Chris said, we're ready to turn the page. Thank you, Ben Stiller. So we are all together, united for one cause, and that is to get out the vote for Kamala Harris. Joteka Edie is here, and you describe Win with Black Women as a collective love letter to ourselves. I know you all been doing this a long time. I was on a lot of calls with y'all in 2020, but we ain't never seen nothing like this before, right? Stand up, tell us, what is happening? Explain.
Oprah been doing TV for a long time. Her presence is so dope, bro. Like she just so you can tell like how nervous she is on screen versus Oprah. She's so commanding and she been doing this for a long time. That's why she got her own. She Oprah. Well, I ain't gotta tell you who Oprah is.
Explain the power of what happened 3 hours after Kamala, we knew that she was going to step into this candidacy.
First of all, Oprah, this is amazing to just be united. And that night, Black women everywhere, we knew one thing. We wanted to gather in our joy, and we knew that we needed to get to work. And on that night, Black women, the 44,000 on that Zoom, and the additional 50,000 Black women and our friends that joined to watch that Zoom, what we knew was that it was a moment in our country to show what Black women have always done. That love letter that I often speak of, that love letter is a letter that started years before any of us in this room, you, myself, were even born. And it started by Black women years ago who knew this moment would be here. But they worked and they knew they wouldn't see it, but one day we would. And I just think that it is an honor for all of us to be able to usher in this moment, knowing that those who watered this mighty field are now allowing us to eat of the fruit.
Whoa!
Of the trees that is there.
Thank you so much. And
she did good. She did good. She was way less nervous after she got in it. And it really would be a good look, just optics wise, as far as getting Kamala Harris in there, a Black woman. And when we say Black, we're talking about the color, not African American. She's not African American, whatever. But I mean, that's a real thing. She's not. Let's distinguish that. But at the same time, it is good for all the Black women in America to see another Black woman, you know what I'm saying, in America that's in the office. That'll be a good look, just as far as optics wise.
so, as I said, that call from Win with Black Women is what inspired all the other groups. So White Dudes for Harris raised a bunch of money. Lead organizer Ross Morales.
I think everybody in the crowd started laughing too.
Keto is here, right? Ross? And
this is what I mean. Like this is what I thought was in the crowd. They just seem to be cut from a different cloth, bro. Like this, like you ain't got no young Black niggas from Harris. Like that's what she need. Young niggas for Harris. She need that. She need that. She tried to get that with Quavo, but they need to get a group together.
I hear that my producer told me you've been working in politics a long time, and that really for more than 20 years, and that you said you hadn't seen anything like this.
I haven't seen anything like this since 2008, when President Obama was elected, and when he got
White Dudes for Harris. Like I don't know, maybe they should have like. White guys don't, every white dude don't look like this. They don't act like this. You know what I'm saying? So it just seemed like I said, the people that are in there, like they just seem to be cut from a different ilk. I don't know. I know a whole bunch of white guys that don't act like nothing like this.
Got elected, it was about a newness and a hope.
Not to say anything is wrong with how he's acting. I'm just saying there's a distinction.
This time, it's about an exuberance and an excitement that you only get from hard-fought wins.
He don't look like a type A personality. That's what I'm saying. He don't look like a type A personality.
And hard-fought losses and knowing what's at stake. And that's why we're not going back.
Look, his hands was in his pockets the whole time. That's what y'all coming here for the deep dive, a deep breakdown. I'm looking at and seeing the kind of men and the kind of people. We got niggas that's voting for Harris, and that's what I'm saying, niggas. Like, we got niggas voting for Harris just because she's Black, and I respect that, right? You got Plies, Boosie, people like that, right? Him, white guys for Harris, or white dudes, or whatever it is, he just seems like like a beta male. And I don't really go too much to the alpha beta male, but we all know there's a difference between type A personalities and type B, and you know what I'm saying, submissive and dominant personalities. We know that there's a difference. Bruh doesn't see, he's the leader. That's what they brought him out like he the spokesperson. They brought him out like he the guy for them. I don't understand. I mean, I'm getting this passionate about it because it makes you wonder. You gotta understand, guys, this is a big thing. We're talking about putting a woman in a position of power. I voted for Hillary Clinton back in 2016 because I was so much against Trump. I was on the hate rage, right? I told you I was feeding my algorithm, whatever it showed me. I'm not understanding that whatever I looked at in my algorithm, and also would give me more of it, right? So I wasn't understanding that aspect of it. I never discovered the aspect as far as looking at the opposite side until I got in. That's why I did this in the beginning. Until I was 19 years old, right? And I was in the car dealership and I'm working, and my guy Dante, that was his brother's name. He was, cleaning the cars. He had been working there for like 3 or 4 years before me. And he just was like 40 something, early 40s, late 30s. And he put me on game like, yo, like, bro, in this society, you got to be able to look at both sides and form your own opinion. If not, you're going to fall victim to everything they show you on the news. There's a reason why black people have been voting one way. And he's like, I'm not saying I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm not saying I'll do that. But at the same time, I need to understand what they're doing and what they're doing, right? So to go back to this guy, he just, when I think about men that vote for Kamala, not because she's black, because like I know a whole bunch of guys that's voting for her just because she's black. When I think about guys that are aware of, stuff, I just seem like they act like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that all guys that vote for Kamala act like this, but I'm just saying that this guy is the spokesperson for white guys that vote for Kamala. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that there's white guys out there that want this guy to be a spokesperson. I'm just saying, when you come up with Trump, there's a different kind of people, a different kind of personality that are voting for him. That's why I'm so heavy on the demographics. Look at all these black women around him. Look at how they look, and they looking at him. And bro hasn't taken his hands out of his pockets at all. I'm not an FBI agent, the best reader of people, but I'm just saying he looks uncomfortable. He doesn't look like he's a leader to me. He doesn't scream like I'm a leader. He doesn't scream that. I think that that's a problem. And he's following a woman. This kind of guy following a woman. There's different kind of men out there, whether they be racist, whether they be redneck, whether they be, hillbilly, whether they be, black ghetto in the hood. There's different kind of personality of person that's following Trump that's following Kamala. And when I say person, I'm speaking specifically from a man's perspective. When you take away men that's not voting for Kamala just because she's black, and just because they hate Trump, that's two different things, right? They black, I'm gonna vote for her. I hate Trump, I'm gonna vote for her. When you take away those two elements, those are big elements. Those are a lot of reasons why people are not voting Republican. That's what I'm saying. Let's take away Trump out of it. There are a lot of reasons why people are not voting Republican is because of Trump. Either they hate him or they just, they just don't like him, right? When it comes with Kamala, there's a lot of men that understand policy, they understand politicians, they understand politics, they understand all the dynamics of politics, how it's crazy she's in this place, a whole bunch of stuff, and they act like this, they look like this, and this is not right. It's not right. I don't know. If you watching this and you maybe act like this and look like this, I'm not talking to you specifically, but I'm just saying this is a leader. They're telling us that this is a leader right here. This isn't a leader. Not by any definition. I saw that woman when she got up, and I applauded Oprah because I'm like, yo, Oprah is so like excellent just on the stage, her presence. Like I'm behind the screen right now. Y'all see how I start out streams. I get a little nervous. I kick up a little bit and I get in my groove, right? Oprah on stage, her presence, right? And that woman, the black woman, right? She started off very nervous. By the end of it, I was like, yo, like I like the way she talking, right? She made me applaud. Like this will be good for black women. This would be dope. This dude right here makes me just go on a rant of how disgusting it is that like, and all, of course, all the black women looking like I can control this nigga. Like I don't know, bro. This makes me just disgusted. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay, we're not going back.
All right, I'm done.
Thank
you. Time, it's about an exuberance and an excitement that you only get from hard-fought wins and hard-fought losses and knowing what's at stake.
Hands are in his
and that's
pockets
why
the whole time,
we're not going back.
That's why we're not going back. We're not going back.
He looked like he wanted a pat on the back after he said that. Like, I did say that. I said that.
Thank you, Mr. White Dude. Thank you so much. Khalil.
I love Oprah, bro. I love Oprah. That was dope. That was dope. Let's go back.
Thank you, Mr. White Dude.
Hey, I feel like after a guy gives a speech like that, you got to do something like that. Like, that was as white as it gets.
Dude, thank you so much. Khalil. We're not going back.
It was just corny. And it was very corny. Very corny.
Thank you, Mr. White Dude. Thank you so much. Khalil Thompson is the founder of Win with Black Men. Khalil, what do you want black men to know about this election?
Well, thank you, Oprah.
Already, I like his demeanor. Already. Look, you see the difference. That's what y'all might have thought I was being hard on white, bro. I wasn't. You saw he looked like he was just, and then Oprah, watch how Oprah reacts to him. I bet it'd be way different. Already, I like his personality and his whole just demeanor and everything. He up, you know what I'm saying? He there. Let's hear what he got to say.
Winfrey for allowing us to be here and share in this amazing moment tonight. Brothers, men who are watching this and enjoying this moment,
he owning a moment. I want to hear what he got to say.
A choice. I choose experience and fortitude over something else. I come from a litany of amazing black women, Kathy, Jahan, Megan Janelle, and I have an amazing 7-year-old CEO who runs my life. Hopefully she's at home, finished her homework. But we have a chance to do a performance review and give a promotion to the best qualified candidate to be president of the United States.
Okay, so let me just ask you this.
Get up. See, she respect him way more. I'm trying to tell you. If you a dude and you acting like that, bro, you can't be a leader acting like that. That's what I'm saying. It aggravates me that if he was just a guy that was just going to the group and going to the classes, I wouldn't care. Do you? But don't be getting up being a spokesperson for people acting like that. That's disgusting.
Sorry. On the way here, when I was coming through the airport, black man stopped me and he said I guess he knew I was coming here for something like this. And he goes, "Well, I'm just tell you, I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting for Trump because he gave me that check." And so I've heard that from several people that I got the check. He gave us the check, and so therefore, forget about everything.
Oprah is so good. She made it about just that check, right? But let's
else. It's about the checks.
See, she made it about that.
What he doesn't know is that Congress actually paid for the check, and the American people paid for it. 45 just signed it. So
yeah.
Okay. Look, there's a.
So what do you want to say to that kind of thinking? Because a lot of people feel that way.
We're not a monolith. You can have your viewpoint and views for where you believe, but I think if I have the choice to go into someone to make the best decision for my family, I don't want someone who has 34 convictions. I don't want someone who is going to choose hate over choosing the best possible way to unite us as a country. And so I see Vice President Harris as being the best person to do that.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Shannon Watts. Shannon Watts is the organizer.
Do you see how she just interacted with him? All my men watching this, bro, you gotta be like, don't act like that one guy. I'm done with it now, but that guy right there gave me some stuff to think about. I'll just say that. I like the way he interacted. I feel like as people, when we see ourselves in somebody a little bit, we kind of respect them a little bit more and we relate to them more, obviously, right? There's going to be white dudes or guys or whatever she said that act like him and they can see themselves in him. So I guess, they make sense. That's why I said Democratic Party they're doing a great approach. Especially, I think this is just so far, this is great. We're only 15 minutes in. I'm gonna stop talking. Let's get to it.
Of white women, answer the call. Shannon, what do you want to say? What do you want to say specifically to white women in Oakland County, white women throughout the United States about this moment in answering the call?
Even if you are a white woman who is voting.
She acts more type A personality than this dude. Like they found the water boy to be the leader. The white guys for Trump or white guys for Kamala. Y'all gotta just think of a different person. Y'all found the water, but he's the water boy. Keep him on the sideline. He's not on the field. No, get him off.
Voting for Kamala Harris, that's not enough. You have to get off the sidelines and do the work like black women.
I have not watched this. That's funny.
And black men have been doing for decades and follow the lead of people like Jotaika Edie, whose lead we followed on our call. We have to be waking up every day and phone banking and knocking doors and sending texts. But most important, we have to be persuading the white women in our lives. We may be part of the 47%, but we know the 53%. They're our mothers and our sisters and our friends, and we have to tell them to vote not just in their own self-interests, but in all women's best interests.
Right, and so that's what tonight is all about. Tonight is all about leaving this moment here.
I mean, look, Trump makes it easy for women to vote for Kamala. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. He make it easy for women to vote for Kamala. Shout out to white women for Trump. I mean, white women for Harris. I like her, the spokesperson. You know what I'm saying? She legit. She legit.
And figuring out what it is you can do in your own home, in your own community, in your own district to spread the word and spread the vote. So Bianca Shaw is the youth director for South Asians for Harris. What are you hearing from the South Asian community?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. I want to start off and say, when I answered that call that I would be here, I said, me? Are you sure? Because I cannot believe it, but thank you so much. South Asians for Harris, we are an official, AANHPI campaign affiliate with the group, and I just want to say that the aunties, the uncles, the students, we're coming out in numbers we've never seen before, out to mobilize for Kamala Devi Harris in this campaign, because not only does she represent, our South Asian heritage, our love for Italy, but she also represents the values that, our parents, our grandparents immigrated to this country to keep and maintain. And she does that so well, and we need to maintain that.
Thank you. It's about the values. I'm with you. Thank you. Okay, before the vice president joins us, I want to bring out a local Michigander. I love saying Michigander around here. She's known as Big Gretch. Please welcome Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Hey. Okay, Greg, good cutie.
We're so
like
happy to be in your state. Thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Yes, and we want everybody who can vote, obviously, to vote, but it's
She a cutie for real.
very important for women. So what do you want to say to women?
Well, this is going to be a big, close race. Michigan is always tight. We know we're feeling good, but we got to translate that feeling into action. We deserve a leader who is strong and kind. It's not mutually exclusive. And that's why I think this moment is so important for all of us today, but for our kids and future generations.
They're doing a good job at drawing distinguish. She said strong. I was like, she said and kind. I was like, oh.
Too. There's so much at stake here, from our individual reproductive freedom to the ability to get ahead and make a good living and take care of your family. That's all on the line this election.
Yes, strong and kind.
Yes.
Isn't that a notion? And what can Michigan do to help get Kamala Harris to the White House?
I think we've got to do the hard work. In 2016, we were short 11,000 votes. That's 2 votes per precinct, which tells you that a conversation you have with a loved one or a neighbor or a fellow parishioner, whomever in your life you can talk to, we've got to do it. Do something, as Michelle Obama said at the convention.
Well, this is what we're doing tonight. We're doing something. Thank you for allowing us in your
Thank you.
state. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a seat there. Right there.
Oprah is so dope, bro. She just, her demeanor is just so dope. I would love to meet Oprah one day.
I want to bring in right now the chair of the Harris Waltz campaign, Jen O'Malley Dillon. Jen, hello. Hi. Have you seen anything like this? Isn't this great fun?
It's amazing.
Tell us what needs to happen from this day until November 5th.
So first of all, this campaign is so inspired by the grassroots organizations that have come together like this, and it is making us stronger as a campaign to work together. We wouldn't be here without them today. We have 47 days left, and you all know the stakes or you wouldn't be here. And while we have this extraordinary growing enthusiasm that the Vice President and Governor Walz are seeing everywhere, we are still in a margin of error race. It's tied. It's tied right here in Michigan. It's tied in all the battleground states. So it's going to take all of us to build a pathway, many pathways to 270 electoral votes. That's what we're focused
I'm 48% right now. 52% Trump, 48% Kamala.
on the campaign. In every state, we have to register more people. We have to mobilize our voters to turn out to vote. And then we have got to go persuade those people that still don't know enough about the Vice President and her vision for the future. And if we do that together, all of us, we're going to get over the top, but it's really going to take all of us. And to make sure that you're working in your own lives, have those hard conversations in big and small ways. We're going to inch our way over the finish line because we're going to be able to do it together.
And don't you need money?
Well, we do. We do. And these groups need money too. All of us do, because the work is happening on the ground and in the communities. So if you want to help in any way at all in the campaign, go to go.kamalaharris.com. But if you want to help and not be formally engaged with us and join any of these groups here, that's what we need to. It's going to take all of us.
Yes, and I think that everybody on the screens, everybody in this room, everybody who's listening, you become your own grassroots organization when we leave this moment that we're sharing here tonight, and you do what you can in your community. It's not enough just to join us all. We love having you here, but the rah-rah moment is going to end, and then we need to get to work. We need to get busy. Okay, thank you, Jim. I have to say,
I ain't gonna cap, bro. Trump needs this kind of environment. He's been doing good with the podcast, but this shows unity across the board more than black and white. He needs to. I don't know. It's a close election. It's close.
I have to just say this, that the social media team for the Harris campaign has been killing it. They have been killing it. I think that team helps.
He has different groups, but I'm saying they all need to be united in one area and show and they need to be split up based on their groups. Like they got to do something like this. This is good.
Spark this people-led movement. And here's a short look at the
mainly because of Oprah, but who else on Trump's side is like Oprah though? Like, let's really who else on Trump's side is like an Oprah? I really don't know. I really maybe Elon Musk, but he ain't Oprah.
Rally and cry across social media.
Popularity wise.
I'm watching the Kamala Harris rally right now, and wow, I'm crying.
So Tony and I just got done knocking.
I still think he should have Vivek. I swear. I feel like if he have Vivek, the energy just would be so. The JD Vance guy, he aight, but he just ain't. I don't know. I feel like Vivek, or even that one, the black, Republican, I forgot brother's name, but I feel like Tim Walsh threw me for a loop. He's more that middle America kind of guy. You feel me? He ain't more that kind of guy, more that backcountry kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't to say there's anything wrong with that, because that is the base in the Republican Party. But I'm just saying, energy-wise, Vivek can probably provide a Oprah or just this type of environment. He don't have that right now. And I think that's really, he feeling that. I ain't gonna hold you up. I think you're feeling that.
48 doors in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Majority, if not all, independent Republican libertarian doors.
Republicans for Harris is growing explosively too. We just need to get back to a place in this country where we can have disagreements and have them still be respectful.
I'm here with Richard, a 77-year-old registered Republican who's going to be voting for Kamala Harris.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Obviously, a narcissist just doesn't stand for anything that I stand for.
What issues are most important to you personally?
First of all, not electing a felon to the White House.
I'm voting Harris.
Bro can vote. This nigga can't vote.
Walls and a blue ticket all the way.
In 2020, only 50% of young eligible voters actually showed up, and that was
not electing a felon.
What issues are most important to you personally?
First of all, not electing a felon to the White House.
I'm voting Harris Walls and a blue.
You don't even know how life works. You talking honest?
Ticket all the way.
In 2020, only 50% of young eligible voters actually showed up, and that was record-breaking. So if you really want to be brat, you better be showing up in droves in November.
We are with her. With us. I voted for Nikki Haley in the primary. I'm going to be voting for Kamala Harris. That's the right choice for America in 2024.
Trump, right? You know what I'm saying? He sound like he'll vote for Trump, but they're trying to show that he doesn't. They picked him for a reason. I guarantee it.
Let me tell you, it is about character, and it's about decency and respect, and all the things that we were raised to believe about what it means to be an American citizen and pursue the American dream. And if that is important to you, I hope whether you are a Democrat or a Republican or somewhere in the middle, you will choose to vote your values, because values are on the line in this election. And in no other country on this earth could her story unfold the way it has. From a child of immigrants to big sister to McDonald's worker. Oh, there is hope for y'all.
Wait. Did they really McDonald's come out and say that Harris didn't vote for that Harris never worked for them? I heard that. If you know that, go ahead and spam that in the comments. Let me know. And also leave a like for the algorithm. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Here comes the full segment. We're about to really get into it. Let's rock out.
District attorney, a wife, and mamala to senator to vice president. Please welcome Kamala Harris.
By the way, if y'all leaving any comments, I'll go through them at the end of the stream and we'll talk a little bit, all right? And feel free to leave a super chat.
So welcome to hello, Madam Vice President. Hello.
Oh, I saw that she dated Montel Williams, and I came to the conclusion she's been cute for a long time. Kamala Harris. I mean, you know what I'm saying? She, of course, an older, lady, but she you know what I'm saying? She all right. Yeah.
Welcome to Michigan.
It's so good to be back. And Governor, thank you for everything you are and everything you do for the state. Thank you.
Well,
she almost looked the exact same as back in the day. Let's get into it.
Can you see this? We have 1,000 screens
goodness.
here representing people from all over the country.
Hi, everyone.
Can you
Oh, my
feel?
goodness,
Can you
yes.
feel? Can you feel it? Can you feel the joy rising in here?
I can, and I have to tell you, there's so much that I love about our campaign because it really is about the people. And I look around at these screens, Oprah, I look at who's in the room, and this is America.
This is
America. You know, I was saying with a group of friends earlier, I think in this moment where we've dealt with so much that I think is quite exhausting around powerful forces that would try and divide us and try us to have us as Americans pointing fingers at each other.
Yes.
That this movement that is about reminding each other that we have so much more in common than what separates us is so critically important. And this is about the strength of who we are as Americans. And this movement that we're in about, as I like to say, seeing in the face of a stranger a neighbor.
Yes.
Right? An extension of love thy neighbor, that you literally in the face of a stranger see a neighbor.
Yes.
And approach each other with that level of dignity and grace and kindness.
Well, that's exactly what happened with the Win with Black Women. I know you've known Joe Taker for many years.
Thank you, my
That's
dear.
exactly what happened.
She started it. They
had the big call.
Your fault.
They had the big call and then said, let's open the door.
Yeah.
Let's open the door and invite everybody else in, and everybody actually came.
Organically.
Yes.
Organically. Like, this is the beauty of our country. There's so much at stake in this election. And ultimately, the question before us is, what kind of country do we want to live in? And the beauty of a democracy, as long as we can hold on to it, the beauty of a democracy is each of us has the power. Each of us has the power to answer that question.
That's right. Everybody on this call and beyond has the power. But can I just start with this?
Yes, please.
I have to say this because in all of my private conversations, Gail, and I've said this 100 times, and everybody is saying it, you all have said it, I know you have. It seems to us that something happened to you the moment President Biden, stepped aside and withdrew his candidacy, that a veil or something dropped and you just stepped into your power? I mean, literally, looking at
Oprah, the kind of friend you want to have, right? Like, she really just will show you go up. Like, that did happen. Yeah, I did just step up, didn't I?
You at a speech like the week before, which was a great speech, very nice. And then the next week, I saw you walking in the thing. And I said, what happened to you?
You know, we each have those moments in our lives where it's time to step up.
Time to step up.
Time to step up, you know?
Well, the moment you heard.
Next man up, right?
I mean, I really have been saying to people, it felt like a veil dropped and you sort of stepped through that veil. Did you feel like that?
I felt a sense of responsibility, to be honest with you. And with that comes a sense.
Got to put on for a team, huh? Put the team on my back. Nigga, I got you. Don't worry about it, Joe. Go ahead, go to sleep, Joe. I got you.
It's a purpose. But I mean, we're all here and you all are taking time out of your busy lives, everyone here, everyone on the screen, because there really is so much at stake. You know, I have spent the majority of my career being concerned about the well-being of other people.
Yeah.
As I've said, in my career as a prosecutor, I never looked at a victim or a witness and asked them, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them is, are you okay?
Are you okay? I know when I heard that.
You know?
Touch me.
And traveling this country and knowing what is at stake in terms of fundamental freedoms, what's at stake in terms of fighting against hate and those efforts to divide us. Mm-hmm. And I do know that I'm in a position to do something about it. So I felt a great responsibility. Mm-hmm. And the incredible power of the people, right? Who, you know, I'm not the only leader in this. We're all leaders in this. This is so much bigger than me. Mm-hmm. It's about who we are as Americans. And it's about making clear what we stand for. And what we stand for is, it is about the ideals upon which we were founded, including the importance of freedom and the importance of independence and the importance of dignity and purpose. But it is also about what we stand for in terms of our values. I think of it this way.
I think a lot boils down to values. I just said values are on the line here.
Yes. It does. I mean, think about it, Oprah. The idea that some would suggest, and that my opponent and it suggests, which is that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down. Come on. The real measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. And it's important for us.
All right, so I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm watching for here, just to be real with you, right? So I have been very critical of Kamala Harris' lack of podcasts and natural interviews and just being natural. She seemed natural so far. I ain't gonna hold you up, but also I'm just like, I hope we don't get a whole bunch of word salad. I haven't watched this yet. I'm hoping it's not a whole bunch of word salad and a whole bunch of just meaningless, just, you know, comparing herself to Trump and who she think Trump is and how she's better than him as a person. I want to get to the American people. What are you gonna do for America? This is what we want to know. All right, so let's just, if this how this goes, I'm gonna be disappointed. I feel like I'm wasted an hour, but we'll see.
Absolutely.
Articulate that.
You know, ever since the debate, we feel for our fellow citizens in Springfield. Do you not think about the fellow citizens in Springfield, Ohio, the Haitian families, the non-Haitian families, everybody having to deal with this lie that has endangered the lives of Haitian people and anybody who looks Haitian? Everybody in America feels for that. And everybody in America, left, right, middle, has concerns about immigration. Yeah. And I'm told that Justin, where are you in the audience? Justin. Hello. In our audience.
Hello, Madam Vice President.
You live in Michigan.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't love saying hello, Madam Vice President.
I do.
What's your question? It's an immigration question.
My question for you is, when you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question.
Getting right to it. Okay,
you know my background.
I love this. Getting right to it. Getting right. Okay. Shout out to the interview. Shout out to all this. I love it. I love it already.
Was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected attorney general for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me. This is something I've actually worked on. Okay. I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I take very.
Wait, hold on. I was want to say something real quick. I ain't no conspiracy theorist, but check this out. Why does he already have a walkie-talkie on his back? Was this question planned? More than most likely, this was a planned question. Like, I'm not gonna be naive. This was more than most likely a planned question, which is okay, because if Trump goes to like Lex Friedman podcast, you know, they more than most likely send him over a script and say, yo, read this. This is what the questions you can ask us. And, you know, Trump saw those questions and said, hey, you know, this is, he planned his reaction is what I'm saying. So this is planned right here. Let's just be clear about that, because there's no reason for him to have that on, unless they say, hey, you can ask a question. But more than most likely, they screen these questions, of course. But yeah, that's just something we had to just check that out right there. That's like, most people watching this, they go just probably think this is this is planned right there. Check that out.
For the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I take very seriously the importance of having a secure border and ensuring the safety of the American people. Sadly, where we are now can be traced most recently back to the fact that when the United States Congress, members of the Congress, including some of the most conservative Republicans, came up with a border security bill. And here's what that border security bill would have done. It would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Let me tell you, those border agents are working around the...
It's also whether they're not showing the opposite side of his thing. I'm willing to bet he has something in his ear on the opposite side. I'm listening to him, though, about this border security bill. She's about to give the whole spill. Let's listen to her. Let's hear her out right here.
Clock. It would have just been about giving them some support and relief, which is probably why the border agents actually endorsed the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl. And I'm looking at people from all over the country here, so I don't need to tell the folks who are watching this what fentanyl has done to families, to kids in our country, and the need to take seriously stemming the flow coming into our country and addressing that extraordinary and tragic issue in terms of its effect. The bill would have allowed us to have more resources to prosecute transnational criminal organizations. And it would have been part of the solution. And Donald Trump called up those folks and said, don't put that bill on the floor for a vote. He blocked the bill, and you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And he has put his personal political security before border security. Because understand, even in the intervening months, what that bill would have done to give support to folks who care about this issue. And this again gets to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people? Right. Is it about running on problems or fixing problems? My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs, because we know it's within our capacity to do that.
So to answer Justin's question, now that that bill has gone and hasn't passed,
shout out Oprah, though. Shout out, because that's exactly what I was. Shout out Oprah, yo.
Reintroduce that.
Absolutely. And when I am elected president of the United States, I will make sure that bill gets to my desk and I will sign it into law.
Thank you, Justin.
Okay, so to Kamala, you know what I'm saying? Just let's hear her out right here, right? So we've already heard her say the same thing about Trump blocking the bill and doing all that. She's gave pretty much the same answer. The only difference was Oprah at the end saying, okay, so now that that's all over, what you gonna do next, to get back to his actual question? And she said, okay, I'm gonna sign this bill into motion. Now, regardless of how that bill shaped out, could have been Trump blocked the bill? And let's talk about that real quick. Let's take a minute. If Trump actually did block the bill, if it was maybe 3 years in, 2 years in, however long into their 4-year term, how bad is that, right? I think for one, it shows the problem flaw with our politics setup in general, right? Because we got two parties working against each other and not working for the American people. On one hand, I get that argument. On the second hand, it's like you had 2, maybe 3 years to actually stop this and to do this before. Why wait 2-3 years in to put this bill in motion? Oh, because you want to save face for the election. Okay, nah. Let's stop that. So on one hand, they're saying that he's running on a problem instead of fixing it. So on one hand, I get it, right? If Trump was really about the American people, just fix the bill. But on the other hand, it's like, if they were about the American people, then why let it get to that place in the first place? Why wait until all the way at the end so you can save face? To Kamala's defense, she wasn't ultimate. She said she was the border czar. She was the person put the bill, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is she couldn't sign it into motion. But like Trump, when he got into office, he signed whatever bills he signed. Kamala, she couldn't sign those bills. Now, was she? I doubt it, because she, you know what I'm saying, that's just the agenda anyways, to get more illegals in. That's the agenda anyway. So she probably would have never did it. Will she do it if she get into office? Yes, but you know, it's gonna be caveats, and you know how that goes. But shout out to her, and shout out to Oprah for actually being able to just hone it back and not let her get lost in the same exact thing he said. But like I said, look, they only showed this one side. They didn't show the other side. He, of course, got the mic right there, but it's probably a transmitter in his ear. You know what I'm saying? Let him know what to ask. But then when to say it, how to say it.
Thank you. Listen to this. A majority of young Americans, 18 to 34, say that the cost of living is their top issue ahead of the election. Let's take a look.
Groceries are extremely expensive right now.
I don't understand how people are
I
avoiding
like
life
how they're
right now.
using social
For so many
media.
Americans, the high cost of
I
living
like how they're using social media to react with the questions. I think this was all Oprah for real. I think Oprah's just a genius, but maybe I just said I gotta meet her one day. That'd be dope.
is their top concern this election.
Rachel, we have $435 to last us till the end of the month. Okay?
What?
In Philadelphia, Rachel and Garrett
Shout out to Kamala Harris' social media team. It's probably them too, but I'm just saying Oprah's dope.
say they have to watch every penny.
When I think of middle class, I think about people who are able to just get up and go and do things within their means and like not extravagant things, but be able to get up and go to dinner whenever they want, or maybe take that trip, that long weekend trip. We don't have that luxury.
By a long shot, her tax plan is phenomenal, no glaze.
Kamala Harris just delivered her new economic plan, and boy, oh boy, is it good for small business owners.
Holy shit, you guys. Kamala Harris is going to announce tomorrow a $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers.
When I am elected president, I will make it a top priority to bring down costs and increase economic security for all Americans.
Well, Rachel and Garrett are joining us on Zoom from Pennsylvania, and I understand your sister and brother-in-law moved in, and you're hoping to save money to have a second child?
That's right. Hi, Oprah. Hi, Madam Vice President. It's nice to be with you all.
Yes.
Hi.
And so what did you want to say to the Vice President?
So, Madam Vice President, we are, like many, many young Americans, just experiencing.
Why do people say Madam Vice? It's like Madam, like a sign of like respect. I thought it was like back in the old days. I don't know. Like, so I thought it was just Miss. I guess Madam's. I don't know.
Very high cost of living. We ended up giving up our apartment, moving in with our parents, who were so gracious to take us in for over a year so that we could save money and ultimately buy a home, because that's what we thought the American dream was, to get married and buy a home and have a baby. And now here we are, and our mortgage is incredibly higher than what we thought it would be. And my sister and our brother-in-law are living with us right now so that they can hopefully one day do the same. And while it's beneficial for us because they help us pay off some of our mortgage, it's also beneficial for them because they can save on cheaper rent. But we really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries. So that's why I'm taking on, for example, price gouging, which is when, most companies and corporations are good, but for those bad ones, they take advantage of people, especially during a pandemic or extreme weather, and they end up jacking up prices, and there needs to be accountability and consequence for that. So I'm going to be taking on price gouging. But it's also about dealing with what we need to do around home ownership, right? So as someone mentioned during this film, look, I grew up a child of a mother who worked very hard. She raised me and my sister. And she saved up, and by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy a home.
Same story about Alon. I better not hear this.
And we grew up actually for a long time in an apartment on top of a child care center that was owned by the woman we called our second mother, because she helped my mother raise us. Different. And she was a small business owner, Miss Shelton. So I'll bring all this together to tell you the way I think about it is, one, when people work hard and have a dream of buying a home, we should give you the opportunity to be able to do that, which is why part of my plan is for first-time homeowners, buyers, to have a $25,000 down payment assistance to buy your first home. Because people just need...
Well, she keeps saying this.
To be able to get their...
The price gouging thing, that's something new.
Foot in the door, and then you'll do the hard work. Part of my plan is what we need to do to support small businesses, because my second mother was a small business owner, and I love our small businesses and our small business owners. They are not only business leaders, they are community leaders. They mentor, they hire locally, and we have so many entrepreneurs in our country who have great ideas, incredible work ethic, but not necessarily access to capital, because not everybody, like my opponent, was handed $400 million on a silver
plate that he filed bankruptcy 6 times on. And so part of my plan is to give startup small businesses a $50,000 tax deduction to start up their small business. Right now it's $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. So that's part of my plan.
That's a teeny tiny business.
So hold up. I'm just actually hearing this. I thought that $50,000 was a grant. I thought it was like a $50,000 small business grant. A tax deduction is like major difference. That means you have to spend $50,000 in order to get a deduction from it. I have to look. I want to do some deeper research about this $50,000 loan or $50,000 tax deduction that she's proposing, because she said access to capital. So I'm really confused. That's 2 different things. To have a tax deduction means that you have to at least spend the $50,000 first, because that has to get reduced or whatever, or at least the money has to come in and you're not taxed $50,000 on it, right? That's not giving you access to get the capital and the infrastructure in place to get either A, get $50,000 or to B, spend $50,000. It's a major difference. So has she been gaming this? I'll do some research on that, get back to y'all. But that's a major difference. I just wanted to point that out. A tax deduction means you either A, spend the $50,000 or B, you earn the $50,000. Whereas a grant means you're giving me money so I can start my business because I need access to money to start my business. She gave the Trump analogy, which she struggled on, but she gave the analogy that Trump was giving $400 million. I don't think it was $400 million. I read his book. I think it was like a few million. He inherited some houses or whatever, but maybe it was 400 million. Either way, turned it to multiple billions of dollars, which is, that's a feat within itself. But that being said, he was giving money. So that means the 400 million he was giving, he didn't spend 400 million from zero. So you can't even compare those two. If you're telling you giving us a tax deduction, that's not actually helping the small business owner at all, unless a small business owner already has money coming in. As far as, you got 130,000 and we take off 50. So you're not even counting that $50,000. So we really want to make your income be, your taxable income will be $80,000 because you're taking off the 50,000, right? If that's your earned income versus depending on how your business is set up. But if that's your earned income, they'll take away $50,000. Boom, that's off the bat taken off. So now your actual earned income is $80,000. But you have to first earn that income in order for it to get taken off. So that's not helping. I'm gonna look into it, but that right there just made me rethink a lot of stuff. That's crazy. I'll look into it though.
That's a business in teeny tiny business. It's a concept of a business, right?
Yes.
Hey, I think bro right there in the back done heard something too. I don't know. Maybe he feel like me. You see bro right here in the back. Bro's feeling the same. Everybody laughing, cheering. He like, wait a minute, hold on. Did I hear that right? A tax deduction. Because you're giving $25,000 for a home grant, right? Or for the home loan. Even though you're going to have to qualify for that home loan. I mean, unless you want to repeat the 2008 crisis, then they're going to have to be a lot of qualifications. So it's not about to be people just on the side of the street. If you're not in a position right now, credit-wise, or maybe even down payment-wise, to get a home, just because she's getting into office, you're not going to be just magically in position to get a home because she's not giving you the $25,000. It's going to be an assistance, right? But even with that being said, why not do the exact same thing when it comes to the small business loan? This should be a loan, not a tax deduction. That's a major difference. And I think that's been misconstrued just based off conversations that I've had with people that are supporting Kamala Harris. The conversations I've been having, we've been like, oh, wait, we get $50,000? Granted, some people got $100,000 to spend to make the business work first, right? If you're talking about real estate, maybe I would really be curious to how that would work with real estate. I'd actually be curious to see how. I think there needs to be more detail provided about this. I don't know.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. We getting lost in the entertainment value. I feel like if I was in Kamala Harris' presence, I might get lost in the entertainment value. I might get lost in just the hey, you cool, charismatic type stuff. You saw bro right here in the back. He not lost. I think something about, look, everybody looking exact happy except for him. And maybe bro right there. But him right there, he ain't lost. Yeah, all these smiles. He not lost.
That's right. And
it's still on paper with the $5,000.
Right. It just hasn't happened, right? part of to speak to you guys and your family and your dreams, is what we need to do around giving middle-class families tax breaks. And so part of my plan is also to extend.
All right, guys, I'm gonna be right back. Let it play.
Extend and expand the child tax credit to $6,000 so that you can, in the first year of your child's life, have the resources to be able to buy a crib and a car seat and clothes for your baby, knowing that's such an extraordinarily important time in their development, and you shouldn't have to worry about how you're going to take care of their basic needs. All of this and more is part of what I plan to build, and I call it an opportunity economy. And it's basically about creating opportunities, knowing so many people have the ambition, have the aspirations, are working hard, but just need opportunity to reach their goals and their dreams.
I saw you smiling with that $25,000 credit for the home. I saw that smile on your face and the $6,000. Thank you all so much. I want to just introduce to Shelby, who's also in our virtual audience. Thank you guys. Shelby from Virginia, who's also struggling with the cost of living. Tell us your story, Shelby. Why?
Hi, Madam Vice President. Hi, Oprah. I'm 24 years old. I'm a graduate student living with my parents, and I want to move out next year and potentially buy a home. And I'm concerned about the affordability of one with the extra costs and bills that I'm paying now, along with the bills and costs I will pay in the future too. And so everything just has a cost, and everything is so expensive. And so I'm worried about my capacity and how I'm able to fully support myself once I do live independently.
You sound like one of my daughter girls from South Africa graduated. She was like, I hate adulting. I hate adulting. This adulting isn't going so well. Yes.
I'm back.
Well, so first of all, congratulations on all the success you've already achieved. And it is your story and the story of our friends before you is really, that's the American story, right? You are working hard, you have goals, you have ambitions. And so part of it is, again, the $25,000 down payment assistance. Part of it is what we need to do to also push back against a very different vision for our country. Because look, in this election, there are two very different visions for our country. One, for me, that is focused on the future, including you, and another that is focused on the past. What Donald Trump, what my opponent plans on doing for the economy is doing what he did the last time he was president and giving another tax break for billionaires and the biggest corporations that would add $5 trillion to our deficit. And get this, he plans on doing what I call a Trump sales tax, which is basically he's going to put a 20% tax on everyday necessities that economists have estimated will cost the average American $4,000 more a year, which is why Goldman Sachs, which is why Moody's, which is why Wharton School of Business, which is why 16 Nobel laureates have collectively determined, after analyzing our plans, one, mine would strengthen the economy, his would weaken it. Two, that on his plan, he would actually blow up inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. So when you think about the cost of living, my approach is about lifting you up. His would be about actually weakening our economy. And I feel very strongly when an individual, when a small business, when a family, when the middle class is strong, America is strong.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Thank you, Shelby. Thank you, Rachel and Garrett. So the Harris campaign kicked off the Fighting for Reproductive Freedom bus tour to support the fundamental right for women to make decisions about our own bodies. And here is a short tape on that.
I did something that nobody thought was possible. I got rid of Roe v. Wade.
After Roe v. Wade was overturned, Tennessee put forth a ban immediately that banned all abortion with no exceptions.
Abortion bans are not pro-life. They are pro-poverty and pro-inequality.
It's been over 2 years since a 5-4 ruling by the Supreme Court ended Roe versus Wade, the landmark case that provided nearly 50 years of abortion rights across the United States. Since then, abortions have been banned in over a dozen states. Many women and doctors say the limits on reproductive rights have forced them into unimaginable situations.
These policies do not reflect evidence-based medical practice. They do not keep my patients safe.
According to the gender equity policy, women who live in states where abortion is banned are up to 3 times more likely to die during pregnancy, during childbirth, or soon after giving birth.
I nearly died, all because of Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices overturning Roe v. Wade.
So for the millions of you who watched the Democratic National Convention, you will remember Hadley Duvall telling her incredibly powerful story. And in case you didn't see it, here's just a brief look.
Growing up, I was an all-American girl. Varsity soccer captain, cheerleading captain, homecoming queen, and survivor. I was raped by my stepfather after years of sexual abuse. At age 12, I took my first pregnancy test, and it was positive.
Hadley is here. Stand up, Hadley.
That's sad, huh?
I can tell you, we are all standing up because we are so impressed by your courage to stand up and share your story. Where did that come from, the strength to do this? Because I'm sure you thought long and hard before deciding to go public with your story.
When Roe v. Wade was overturned,
thanks everybody,
I woke up with a harsh reality of my abuse was over, but my story is not. And I just could not fathom thinking about the other Hadleys out there that don't have that choice, that don't have somebody to go to. So being able to find courage and be the light for them, that's really what I do it for.
And so what do you want to say to other people who are voting in this election regarding what happened to you and what that means?
You can't wait until it's too late to care about reproductive health care, because then it's too late. And when it affects you, it hits, and you can't deny it. You can't look at someone with a story like mine and say it didn't happen. And there are more people like me out there, and there are gonna be so many more who deserve their options. They deserve their choices. Let's get involved. We have someone who's willing to hear us at a level like never before. We have someone who wants to know what we want in this country. We have someone who wants to lift up our voice, and we need to show out and show up for her just like she's showing out and showing up for us.
All right. Is there something you wanted to say to Madam Vice President?
Madam Vice President, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for seeing us, for hearing us when the Supreme Court won't. Thank you for fighting and, really showing us that life is not about the hard things that you go through. You don't bow down, even when you're the underdog, especially when you're the underdog.
That's right.
You stand up and you stand tall, and you give me so much hope and so much strength, and thank you.
She has a nice personality.
Thank you, Hadley, for coming all this way. I hope you continue to use your voice. I hope you continue that. This week, the case of a young woman who lost her life after the abortion ban took place in Georgia made national headlines. Amber's case came to light through the reporting of journalist Kavitha Sarana with ProPublica. And so listen to her story.
2 years ago, 28-year-old Amber Nicole Thurman, a medical assistant and a single mother to a 6-year-old boy, found out she was pregnant. Amber had just secured her own apartment and was thinking about going to nursing school. She made the decision to terminate her pregnancy. A strict abortion ban had recently taken place in her home state of Georgia, which caused Amber to travel to North Carolina for the procedure. Traffic made her miss the appointment, so the clinic gave her medication, what are known as abortion pills. Once back home, Amber experienced profuse bleeding, vomiting, severe pain. She eventually passed out. Her boyfriend called for an ambulance. At the Georgia hospital, Amber's condition deteriorated quickly. In a rare occurrence, it was discovered her body had not expelled all the fetal tissue and an infection was spreading. Official Georgia State medical expert analysis of her case says Amber should have received a life-saving D&C, but doctors waited 20 hours before deciding to take her to surgery. Amber's blood pressure had taken a dive. Her organs had started failing. In the operating room, her heart stopped. On the way to surgery, Amber's last words to her mother were, "Promise me you'll take care of my son."
Amber's mother, Shanette, and older sisters CJ and Andrika are here, and they wanted to be here tonight to speak out for the first time. Ms. Jeanette, what do you want us to know about Amber's story?
Initially, I did not want the public
This is sad.
to know my pain. I wanted to go through in silence, but I realized that it was selfish. I want y'all to know Amber was not a statistic. She was loved by a family, a strong family, and we would have done whatever to get my baby, our baby, the help that she needed. When ProPublica came to my home, I pushed them away. No, but Kavithia, she was persistent. She said, it was something that you needed to know. You have to hear me. Women around the world, people around the world need to know that this was preventable. 2 years later, after speaking with my daughters, because I lost strength, I lost hope, you're looking at a mother that is broken. The worst pain ever that a mother, that a parent could ever feel. Her father and myself and the family, you're looking at it.
Well, we appreciate so deeply you being here. And we're all watching you hear that tape and those words. We know how re-traumatizing that is and the strength it takes for you to be here to tell your story. And we deeply appreciate it. And I have to ask you, as her sisters, how are you coping? And what does knowing that this could have been prevented, how does that sit with you? How do you cope with that on a daily basis?
I mean, it's heartbreaking. You know, that was my baby sister. I loved my baby sister, you know. I'm beyond hurt, disappointed. I feel guilty. I wish I could have helped her, you know, because she was suffering. And we had no idea. We trusted them to take care of her, you know. And they just let her die because of some stupid abortion ban. They treated her like she was just another number. They didn't care for her as if, you know, she was their daughter or their, you know, granddaughter.
Yeah.
You know, and she's not here. She'll never come back.
Yeah. Andrika, what do you want to say?
I want to say that it's very disheartening that my sister was allowed to suffer for 20 hours. She suffered. It was nothing that we could do to help her. We trusted the healthcare professionals to do their job and save her, but they failed her.
Well, I think the most powerful thing that you've said here, Ms. Jeanette, is that your daughter is not a statistic. She had a life. She was loved by her sisters, loved by her family, loved by those who knew her, and she's not just a statistic. And we are happy to speak her name tonight in this room, talking about what this country needs.
Of course, he crying, right?
In terms of reproductive
we're going to unpack this here in a second, y'all. Emotions aside, we're about to unpack this part.
Rights and freedom. What do you want to say, Madam Vice President?
I'm just so sorry. And the courage that you all have shown is extraordinary, because also you just learned about how it is that she died. And
they just recently learned, yes.
How?
Yeah.
And Amber's mom shared with me that the word over and over again in her mind is preventable.
Yeah.
Preventable. That word keeps coming to her. And this story is a story that is sadly not the only story of what has been happening since these bans have taken place. And, you know, so just to step back in terms of how we got here, the former president chose 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would overdo the protections of Roe v. Wade.
So as far as the actual show itself, this is amazing. They did a great job. It showed the video footage first, and then you go to the family, and then you come back and you run it back full circle as far as the political angle. This is just a great producers and whoever else was involved in the creative side of this is great.
And they did as he intended, and in state after state, including yours, these abortion bans have been passed that criminalize healthcare providers. In a couple of states, prison for life, Oprah. Prison for life in a couple of states for a doctor or a nurse who provides health care. And so it seems very apparent.
Even when the mother's life is in danger.
But see, here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. So is she on death's door before you actually decide to give her help?
Wait, that's the line,
So is she on death's door before you actually decide to give her help?
What did she say?
So is she on death's door before you actually decide to give her help? Is she on death's door before you actually decide to give her
Is she on death's door before you actually decide to give her help? Okay.
help?
That's the problem.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. That you've got to prove you're on death's door.
Like literally a doctor or a nurse has to say, she might die any minute, better give her now care. Because otherwise I might go to prison for life in some cases. Think about what we're doing in
Crazy. That's actually crazy.
terms of saying that certain people who are in these state houses, and then starting with the former president of the United States, think they're in a better position than a doctor or a nurse to determine when their patient needs medical care. This literally, and Amber's story highlights the fact that among everything that is wrong with these bans and what has happened in terms of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, it's a healthcare crisis. It's a healthcare crisis that affects the patient and the profession. And going back to Hadley's story, and Hadley, you've been so
All right.
remarkable.
Let's stop this for 1 second. All right. A lot of emotions there. A lot of emotions going on. That event in and of itself is very sad from a standpoint of her, you know what I'm saying, just dying from was supposed to be a routine thing, right? Those abortion pills. Let's go back a few steps though. Now, as far as her being in that position, I guess she was late for the appointment, so she missed the appointment and had to go. Now, when it comes to how the abortion stuff is set up right now, the states vote on it, right? So in Georgia, it's a 6-week abortion ban. By the 6th week, you have to get an abortion by 6 weeks. At week 7, you cannot get an abortion in the state of Georgia. What I didn't know is that, you know, if the doctors, if they do, they can potentially go to jail for life, which makes sense because they're breaking the law, right? And they're killing a life. It's how the state, if it's legal, illegal after 6 weeks, they would look at it like they're killing somebody, right? Now, regarding this specific scenario, it just goes to show what I guess the lack of access can possibly cause, right? The lack of access, because if this woman, Amber, if she was in a state, she went to North Carolina to get it done, so she lived in North Carolina, then she would have just been able to get it done, you know, not worry about, I guess, traffic, not worry about missing appointments or whatever. She would have been able to just get it done. If it's just too much traffic, she missed the appointment, she can go back the next day, that kind of thing, right? So, of course, abortion is a sticky topic, guys, really sticky topic. But, and even this situation, it's not black and white. But what I'm saying is she had access to get it done. How it's shaped out is really messed up. There's no excuse for it, right? Apparently, there was a piece of the baby still inside of her, so the womb got infected and they couldn't do anything. And so I guess that would be the thing that we got to figure out right there, right? Like, was she on deathbed? Did they know the whole time that the baby was inside of them, or did they figure out at the end? Did they figure out at the end? Either way, what I'm saying is this abortion thing. It's really it's not a clear topic. I think people who've gotten raped in that case of that Hadley girl, I think that's a no-brainer, right? Like she should be able to. She was 12 years old. She should be able to get an abortion. Like that's a no-brainer to me. This situation with this woman, you know, she's of age. She already got a kid. She wanted to get it done at 6 weeks. I'm not saying that it's her. I'm not saying it's not her fault at all. Let's just think of it. It's not her fault. What I'm saying is that it was preventable from a lot of different ways. Yes, the doctor at the end, they could have got it out. Preventable right there. It also was preventable to get pregnant. It also was preventable, and I know that sounds so bad, but it's a real thing, right? It also was preventable to actually to be on time for your stuff. It was traffic, whatever. It was preventable for you maybe to stay another night and to get it done. All of these things, there were so many other things that could have happened, That's all I'm trying to say. There's so many other things that could have happened for her to be able to properly have the baby aborted. But, she decided for whatever reason, she had to go back home. She couldn't stay another day. Maybe she had to watch her other baby. I don't know. So she needed to take the pills and leave. She could have stayed another night, got it done if it was that big of a thing. But here's the thing, right? Those pills and those abortion pills, I have my own experience with this stuff, right? It's only like a certain percentage that you have that is going to be like that it completes all the way. So there's always, what I'm saying is, when you get an abortion, unless you get the stuff vacuumed out of you, and that's like literally what it is. It sounds disgusting, but that's what it is. They vacuum the fetus of the baby outside of the woman. Sounds crazy, but that's what it is. So when it comes to you taking the pills, they say that it's not 100%. Like, it's literally not 100%. They tell you that when you take the pills, it's not 100%. So I just want to take a step back here to just say that, like, there's risk involved with the abortion processes. The doctors there in Georgia, if they knew this is what I'm gonna say. This is just to make it clear. If they knew right away that woman had a little bit of baby inside of her and that baby needed to come out in order to save her life, it shouldn't have been no hesitation. Like, I think that's a failure on the state, on the hospital, more so the hospital, because at that point, if she told them she was already taking the pills, then that mean that they should have just took it out. Like, they should have been okay. Like, they should have just took it out, especially if she was, early if you first trimester, the baby is not even like, it doesn't have ligaments yet, right? Your first trimester, the baby is like a tadpole or something, right? So they could have took it out, is what I'm saying. If they knew, if they did not know until the end, if they didn't know until it was almost too late, if she was on death's door, then it's not really like their fault all the way. I would like, they didn't know until they knew, and when they knew, they acted on it. If that's the case, then you can't say that that's their fault. Regarding the young woman who experienced this, I'm just saying on her own behalf, because this is what when I voted for Republican back in 2020, my whole thing is that just what I see from the Republican Party, there seems to be more self-accountability. There seems to be more like, hey, self-accountability. If you put yourself in this situation, then you got to deal with the consequences per se, right? I'm more empathetic now than I was when I first voted for the Democratic Party, right? I'm only, I'm saying 26, right? So I've only voted in 2 elections, right? So I'm still forming my values and my beliefs and all these things. But what I'm saying is, when I first voted Republican, I was not empathetic. 2016, I just didn't like Trump. Then I flip. I go through certain things in my life that caused me to not be empathetic at all. On the flip side, the last 4 years, I went through certain things in my life that still I'm self-accountable, but I'm very much more empathetic. So to go back to the young woman, there's a lot of self-accountability that could have been had there, just on her half. Like, it really could have, guys. Like, she could have stayed another night to make sure it was done the right way instead of trying to rush to get back. She could have taking the pills, maybe stayed to make sure that it's done. I'm gonna take the pills and I'm gonna stay a week in North Carolina because it takes like a week or two, or like a week, or it's like 3 days up to a week for the baby to the abortion process to complete when you're taking the pills. This being said, though, you got to make sure that everything's out. So why not? Don't put your life in somebody else's hands, is what I'm saying. It's the same thing regarding getting pregnant in the first place. Have some penis control. My guys watching this, like, we got the option to put on a condom. Ladies, you watching this, you got the option to tell bro to put on a condom. Like, this is not like, and this is what I mean by like the accountability factor. Sometimes the Democratic Party act like there's like the people doing these things have no say so in the outcome. Like, we have a huge say so in the outcome of what we do. We're the ones choosing to do it. So if you decide to put your, inside of that, ladies, if you decide to take that without that, if you decide to get so caught up in the moment and so passionate about sex, then why not take accountability of what comes afterwards? That's all I'm saying. That's it. And they're not even banning abortions all the way. People act like they're banning abortions, like you can't get it. You can get it, just can't be after 6 weeks or after 7 weeks. In the case of women being, abused, raped, any of that disgusting, weird stuff, it's a no-brainer, right? No-brainer. Get that, make sure you're okay. If it's something where you consensually lay down as an adult, like you chose, the outcomes of this, that this is a possibility. Why are you acting surprised? And also, who speaks up for the actual baby? Like, this is what gets lost to me. the baby doesn't have rights, right? Like in the idea of getting an abortion, it's the woman's body. I understand that, but there's also like I wouldn't be here if my mother got an abortion. You feel me? Like we wouldn't even be having this moment, right? Or maybe you had this moment, but it wouldn't be with me. You know what I'm saying? Wearing a Who Dey shirt. Who Dey? That's a huge thing, guys. Nobody stood up for me. I mean, actually, somebody did stand up for me, but that's another story for another day. But what I'm saying is, if you're not in a position to stand up for yourself, if you're a person watching this, do you think you would tell your mother or your father to not have you at this present moment? Some people, they probably don't want to be here, and that's just, but some people, they're thankful to be at this life. So I just think that this is a sticky subject, but I do believe that somebody has to stand up for the baby rights, right? We got to think about that. And I know on the flip side, the argument is like, okay, do you really want to bring a baby into this world if you don't have the means to give to this baby? You don't have the life to provide for this baby. You don't have the time to give this baby. You don't have everything that a baby needs to grow into a full-grown, healthy, functioning adult in American society. So you feel like the best alternative is just to get rid of it. I understand that perspective. So I get it. Trust me, I get it 100%. But what I'm saying is, like, as I've grown, as I become more mature, I understand that putting myself in that situation, it's why I move different. Like, you can't put yourself in that situation. Like, because what happens, like, think about it from a guy perspective. Any guy watching this can relate, right? If you out there, you're not in a relationship and you just going into girls raw dogging them, you know what I'm saying? That's how you live in your life, right? Live your life, man. Like, live your life. But that's how you living, then if that girl gets pregnant and you don't have any attachment to her, she was just a one night thing. 9 times out of 10, most guys watching this gonna be like, yo, get rid of that. Like, get rid of that. That's what's going to happen. But that being said, getting rid of that, guess what? The woman go say, what? My body, my choice. I decide if I want to get rid of it. Okay. What I'm saying is, on the flip side of things, just think about the aspect of the man, what the woman would tell him, you came at me, you did this. Whereas the woman, now the woman, she does have the ability, her accountability is I can keep it or I can lose it. Right? I can keep it or I can get rid of it. That's her accountability. But what I'm saying is her accountability needs to be on the front end of it too. You let me go in there. You let me do that. So it's like, it's not like it forcefully happened. You let that happen as a woman. As a man, you decided to make that happen. What I'm saying is we need more accountability. And that's why I voted for the Republican Party back in 2020. I feel like there's more self-accountability. When it comes to the Democratic Party, I feel like they give us reasons to not be accountable. And the reason they do that is because they want us to depend on the government more. And that's a big thing. People don't really realize, like, you want more government involvement. But I understand on the flip side, people are going to be like, well, no, that's the government is blocking abortion. Really, the power is in the state's hands. So it's actually the people are re-voting on this. The reason why 6 weeks in Georgia is because the people, ideally, if we take, the conspiracy theories out of it, ideally what happened in Georgia is that the people voted for it to be banned at 6 weeks. This is what the American people want. That's what I'm saying. So it's not like the government. So on the flip side, when the government makes it legal across the board, that's the government controlling it. Then you go into what? More single motherhood, more welfare assistance, more government assistance, more all these spiraling compound effect that where if maybe we nip it in the bud, where you have less of an out, then maybe you're going to think twice. Maybe you'll think a little more. You think with this head instead of the other one. As a man and as a woman, you're going to be able to have more accountability because women, they're able to not be accountable for things and just be like, oh, I mean, that's just kind of how the world works, right? They get away with that. But when as a man, it's like, no, you did this to me. You got me pregnant. As a man, you like, get rid of it. It's like, no, you did this. Why you acting like this now? You can't step up to the plate. So it's like, it's the same thing as a woman. Like, don't act like this now. You can't step up to the plate. Like, don't act like you need to have the ability to get an abortion. They got 72-hour pills. Like, they still got the blue pill. Like, you still got the you know what I'm saying? You still got that. So if you can take the 72-hour pill and be okay with it, like, you still have more things that you can do. If you can't afford $59 for the pill, you shouldn't be having sex, my guy. That's just a real fact. You shouldn't be, and you definitely shouldn't be having sex without a condom as a woman if you can't afford $59 to buy the pill. This is all I'm saying. There's so many other avenues than taking a life. Like, maybe you can make an argument during that time that you're taking life, but I would say you're not, because the egg is not being fertilized. That's what that does. Go get the blue pill. If you don't have $60 to spend on that, don't have sex. I was told that when I first was embarrassed to ask about condoms, right? Because I was embarrassed to buy condoms. I used to be embarrassed to buy condoms when I first started having sex. I was like, can I get these? I was really embarrassed. Like, I was like it was like a secret thing, right? Like I don't know, maybe because I was young. I don't know. I was like young, I'm having sex, like I need to buy some condoms. But I would used to be like afraid. Like I'm like, damn. I'd be like, it'd be a big thing. I'd be thinking about it. I'm like, hey, but you got a condom? Because I didn't want to go in the store and buy condoms. What I'm saying is somebody told me one day, bro, if you can't buy condoms, you don't need to be having sex. I'm at the age now in my life, I got too much going on. If I can't, A, decide to wear a condom, that's my fault. But B, if I don't decide to wear a condom, then I'm going to get the pill. And we already going to have to talk before that. Hey, you go with that? And all right, cool, bet. I'm going to be right there. Yo, I got you. Want to get a smoothie out there? So, let's wash the pill down. So what I'm saying is, bro, if you don't have the means in your life to spend $60 on a pill that can prevent, if you know that you went in there with like that, then why are you having sex? Why do you have to kill the baby? That's all. Like, why do we? So now let's get back to this. I know this is probably struck a few chords. If y'all still rocking with me, I really appreciate it. I know that probably struck a lot of chords, whatever it is, what it is. I had to get my viewpoint out there. But let's finish this. This is going to be on the emotional end. But I'm just saying, accountability needs to be had for this. That's it.
In telling your story and being so strong in the way you do it, and both of these stories really, I mean, the courage for it out of pain, for you to tell these stories to help other people is just extraordinary. And Hadley, you've been so remarkable. You know, Oprah, I don't know if you know this, but when I was in high school, I learned that my best friend was being molested by her stepfather.
Yes, we heard that story on the DNC.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
you had the courage then to go to her and say, you've got to come to our house.
And she came to stay with us. I called my mother, she came to stay with us. And the idea that these same legislators who would be saying, you know, criminalize healthcare providers are also saying that after a person's body has been violated, that they have no right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That's immoral.
Yeah.
Wait,
I think
nobody's saying that. Like, nobody is saying that. What is she talking about right now?
It's not just immoral. And here's what I want to say. I just don't believe that those legislators, that the government has a right to be in your womb. They have.
I don't who's taking up for the baby, bro? Like, who's taking up? I know the defense as a woman is like, but it's my body. I'm the one who has to nourish the baby to life. I understand that. But you also the one who decided to open your legs and let bro bust inside you. You decided that, not the baby. So why does the baby have to be like, the baby he want a chance at life. He want to live. He want to bust in somebody at one point. Don't take his chance away because you come on, bro.
No right to be in your womb with decisions about your womb.
And one does not have to abandon their faith.
Right.
Or deeply held beliefs to agree the government should not be telling her what to do.
Absolutely.
Right? If she chooses, she will talk with her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government.
So do y'all think that the government is telling them what to do by making a 6-week ban? Because I guess on one hand, like my argument is like, if they're giving you 6 weeks, you still have an opportunity. But I get on the other hand, you know, because she's stressing the government. I get on the other hand that the government is telling you that you only got 6 weeks. So I get that. I understand that, actually. I get it. I get that is the government involvement. I take a lot of stuff I just said back. I still stand on what I stand on as far as the choice. You have the choice. But I understand that that is actually involving the government. I said of self-accountability. It is involving the government if you're giving them. But I feel like somebody got to stand up for the baby, bro. I don't know.
Telling her what's in her best interest.
Well, this is a long healing process for this family.
Yeah, God bless
and we
the family.
thank you.
God
And we
bless
hope that by being amongst people who heard you and heard your daughter's story.
God bless the family and sue the hospital for real. That's. I feel like there was probably negligence on the hospital behalf. More than most likely. Shout out to the family. God bless them.
Story will be meaningful to you in this journey to healing. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, I want to also. Thank you. I want to hear from Star Walker, who is a campaign engagement organizer in Milwaukee, one of my hometowns, Milwaukee. Hi, Star. What's going on in Wisconsin?
Okay, gang. Big gang. You know what I'm saying? Gang shit. You know what I'm saying? They finally got some young niggas on here. I told you they need to have young niggas on here. You saw it, bro, earlier. Now they finally got one. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk. Let's see what bro talking about.
Hi, Oprah. Hi, Madam Vice President. We are fired up.
Nigga, is this a nigga or a... I think they got me.
Here in Wisconsin. I'm gonna engage my Oprah.
Hi, Star. What's going on in Wisconsin?
I thought Star. I thought that was brother nickname. Damn.
Hi, Oprah. Hi, Madam Vice President. We are fired up here in Wisconsin. I'm gonna engage my.
She one of them studs. That's crazy. Like a whole nigga. That's crazy. I didn't name. That's okay. I can kind of see it now.
Organizer, so I focus on within their personal networks. As friends,
Star Walker. I really thought that was a nigga.
Family, teammates. Yeah, and by empowering people to leverage their relationships, we amplify their voices and deliver progress. We're fired up, but we also know it's a razor-thin race. So just like in 2020, this is going to be won by a field margin. It's on us to roll up our sleeves and do the work. Let's make phone calls and knock on doors. Go to go.kamalaharris.com to join this people-powered movement. That way, when we look back, we won't just be remembering how we felt, we'll be remembering what we did.
Woo! I love that.
I'm lost. I thought that was my bad, y'all. I'm lost.
Love that. Y'all, I love that. That's a big takeaway because we're all feeling really good right now. But what really matters is what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Thank you so much, Star. I see somebody else on the screen, Julia Roberts. Hi, Julia.
Hi.
Like she looked the exact same from the 90s. Like she still looked the same.
Hey, I heard you were so excited you wanted to be here tonight. Why?
Well, first of all, Oprah, thank you for hosting this because I guess if I started a voting club, it would be conversationalists for Kamala.
Yes.
Because to talk, to listen, to be heard, to have this back and forth is so unique in this campaign.
That conversationalist, come on. They all groups.
To beautiful, wonderful Kamala Harris, who I have had the good fortune of knowing for many years. And I am a mother of 2 kids. This is their first chance to vote in an election. And I couldn't be more excited for them to have the legacy to say that their first vote they ever cast for president was for you. I have just chills saying that out loud.
Are you all going to the polls together? Are you organizing a party? Are the Motors having a poll party? What's happening?
I wish we were all going together. In fact, they are in college, so we will be separated on the great day, but in spirit united always for what we believe in and what we, I feel like it's interesting. We talk so much about being Americans united for something, but this has become such a global representation of our country and what we stand for. And I get to travel internationally a lot. And I want people to say, oh, you're American? And not, oh, how's it going over there?
Yes.
So I want to get back to that space.
Exactly. Thank you, Julia. Exactly. Thank you. And hey, there's Tracy Ellis Ross coming up there. Tracy, now listen, if anybody should have a voting party, I think it should be at your house because you have great parties, girl.
I just want to say hi, hello, Madam Vice President. It's just an honor. I actually have never met you, which is crazy. And hi, Oprah.
Kind of looking
Wait, what did I miss?
We just saw each other the other day. Okay. Oh, hi, Tracy. Hi.
Hi, Oprah. How you doing?
Good. Yeah. This is exciting, though, isn't it? Isn't it exciting?
It's exciting. It's exciting because I believe in democracy. I believe in the future of our country, in reproductive freedom, bodily autonomy, women leading. I believe in decency. The idea of leading with joy and kindness has always been in my DNA. And I'm here both for the seriousness of this election, but the joy with which it is being handled. It is stunning. And then I also really want to remind everybody, it hasn't been mentioned, but voting up and down the ballot is incredibly important. Your freedom and your daily life are all the way up and down that ballot. People are policies, and we need the right,
especially your local government. She's speaking facts right there.
People in all areas, all positions. And then I would like to say to you two women, thank you for what you represent, because as a 52-year-old childless woman, I want to say to the people who think that a woman's worth is measured in her baby count, I mean, shout out to all the amazing mothers, but the childless women have been mothering the world and elevating culture as entrepreneurs.
I feel like that's something that they tell themselves. I don't know. But let's get. Nah, I ain't got nothing against childless women. I really don't. But I just feel like that's something that I'm just saying, like, we've been mothering the world. Like, I feel like it's in a woman's natural DNA to want children. I feel like the only issue comes with timing when it comes from a woman. And I feel like as you progress as a woman, that you have to be clear about your priorities. Because when you're 50, 60, if you're going to keep choosing your career over it's different between men and women. As a man, we can choose our career over our, reproductive stuff a little bit longer than women. Inshallah, right? Like, when it comes to women, they have about they got about a good 20-year window, maybe. I don't know, like maybe 15, 35, maybe 40, 45. I don't really hear about too many women being pregnant at 45. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I don't really hear that. I've heard about 40. I've heard about men still getting women pregnant at 60, 70. So I'm just saying, as a woman, I think that maybe if you're a woman tuned in, like at a certain point, you got to be able to sit back and choose, like, yo, I got to have a kid. You got to prioritize that. You know what I'm saying? You got to prioritize that. And hopefully you make a decision on who you have the kid with, if it's the right guy. And when I say right guy, like, I mean, you got to be equally yoked, right? Like, if you're a woman that's just about going out and partying, you might choose a guy that's just about going out and partying, right? You're not worried about his future. You're not worried about his future and his ability to provide for the kids and his outlook on if he has a plan for you guys and one. You're not thinking about that because that's just not where you're at in your life, right? If you're a man, and that's the same thing. But if you're a woman and you're focused on your life and your career, and then you're like, man, I don't know if I can have a baby right now because I'm really focused on my life and my career, maybe you should get and have a baby with a guy who's focused on his life and his career, because he'll probably have a plan to be like, yo, while you're focused on having our nourishing our baby, we're going to operate things this way. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. But that's the issue. Like, that's what go back again. This is that lack of self-accountability. Women get pregnant by a guy based off his looks, and vice versa. The man get pregnant with a woman based off her looks without thinking about the mentality, without thinking about who they are, how do they think, what are their values, what do they believe in, what do they prioritize. When you're not thinking like that and you're just thinking like, damn, she look good, I wonder how wet it is. Like, if you're just thinking like that, like, then you're going to get, those on the surface results, right? When it comes to the woman. Then that's when they find out, they say, you start learning who you really are when you're pregnant. It's like, nah, but you could have learned her pedigree before that. And that's kind of your fault that you didn't learn that. Now, granted, sometimes people can't show you everything. You just don't know, right? Especially when it comes to hormones and pregnancy and all that shit. That's just a whole different story. But what I'm saying is, don't be 50 plus as a woman talking about, I'm mothering the world. If you really wanted a kid and your only excuse for having a kid was that you were focused on your career, I think that that's bull, and I think that that's a cop-out, because I feel like you also didn't take the time in to maybe find who you were equally yoked with. I feel like finding a person to have a kid with is a job within itself, bro. You don't want to have kids with somebody who you're tied to for at least 18 years, because when 18 years as a man, you probably faithfully not paying child support, but if you are, then you definitely tied to her. But what I'm saying is, you're heavily involved in that person's life because the kid is not an adult on its own yet. So regardless of what, y'all gonna be tied to each other for life. You can't judge who you're having a baby with. And I understand passionate things happen, but that's why I say again, take the blue pill, bro. Like, it's morning after pill. It costs $60, and if you can't afford that, don't have sex. You can't afford $60 to take a pill, but don't have sex, for real. That's
Godmothers, teachers, mentors, sisters, and friends, and the list goes on. And you do not need to push out a baby to help push humanity forward.
Amen to that. Thank you so much. Tracy Ellis Ross.
I'm not lying. Of course, there's a lot of women that do good things for the world that don't have a baby yet. But what I'm saying is, like, I feel like that's a defense mechanism within their own self, because I feel like women naturally want a baby. That's all I'm saying. And don't like push this idea that women should, like, our birth rate is already lowing down in the US. The birth rate in the US is way lower than it was. They say it's the lowest that it's been since like the Great Depression time, something crazy like that. What I'm saying is, I don't think that this is a good idea to be pushing towards women, that you just shouldn't have kids and that you okay to not have kids as a woman. Like, put the effort into having kids, and to making sure that your life is stable, and to making sure that you choose the right partner, and to making sure that you have a plan. That's probably a better message to put. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, that's I have nothing with Kamala right here. I think she actually has kids, and I like that about her. She actually has. I like that. I'm thankful she didn't have kids. I ain't gonna lie to you. I look at her differently.
Thank you so much. So another important issue this election is, of course, our safety. And just 2 weeks ago, our country experienced yet another horrific school shooting. Watch this.
10:30 a.m. at Robb Elementary in Uvalde. The school is recognizing my 10-year-old daughter, Lexi, for receiving all A's. 30 minutes later, a gunman murders her, 18 classmates and 2 teachers.
In the last 25 years, there have been 417 school shootings in the United States, and more than 383,000 students have experienced gun violence while at school.
More children and adolescents are killed by guns each year than anything else nationwide.
Just 2 weeks ago, Appalachia High School in Winder, Georgia, became the latest area to face every parent's worst nightmare.
Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air, the deadly high school shooting. 2 students and 2 teachers killed. Police and parents racing to the scene outside Atlanta.
Oh my goodness. There is a shooting at my granddaughter's school.
We had to drag our teacher's body into the classroom. We heard him take his last breath.
We live in a country where 383,000 children have been exposed to gun violence. Now just sit with that number for a second. It's a number until it's your child. This is not normal, y'all.
Yep.
This is not normal, and this is not right. Other people in other countries do not have this issue. We, Americans, we have to do better. We have
to help me meet Oprah. Like, help me meet Oprah.
To do better. We cannot continue to just settle for our thoughts and prayers. Lives are being destroyed. 15-year-old Natalie Griffith and her parents, Doug and Marilda, are here. And Natalie, we are so sorry to know that you too have been added to that number, because you were in algebra class when you were shot twice by a 14-year-old fellow student. We're so glad that you lived to tell your story. And so how are you tonight?
Damn. They're doing a good job at pulling at the emotion strings on this mug. I swear to God, well, they almost got me.
Well, before that thing, the video, I was very happy. I still am very happy to be here and to tell my story and what happened, because it was a terrible thing, and it should not have. What's it called?
Where were you shot? Where were you physically shot?
Right here on my shoulder, and then around here, right wrist.
I was saying that 383,000 students in our country, the United States of America, have been exposed to violence. That same scene that you experienced in your school. Had you all been having, drills or preparation for what should happen? Should there be a shooting?
We haven't. I've had intruder drills and fire drills and stuff. In my old schools, we have had a fire drill at Appalachia, but it was the first 2 months of the school year. We hadn't had an intruder drill yet. So we weren't even completely sure where to go in the classroom. We all just, I remember being like huddled.
So I was watching your mother, even just when that tape was coming on. It's still very much PTSD, very much traumatic. You're still reliving it. And how has it been for you? How were you notified that there was a shooting at the school?
I was notified by a friend. She called me, I was at work. And she called me and she said, do you know about the shooting? With the school that she goes to, the Appalachia. I said, no, I don't. And then she said there was a shooting at the Appalachia High School. My heart just dropped. My heart just got so heavy and I could not stop. I had to leave. I told my coworkers I gotta go.
That's a real mom right there, bro. Moms be more over-exaggerated than the kids. Like, look at she like, mom, chill. No, this is sad though. This is really sad. Try to bring a little light to it. This is sad.
I have to leave. And my first thing I did is drop my knee on the floor and just start praying. I prayed for about 30 minutes for my work all the way to the school. I didn't get to the school on my car. I had to leave my car at a gas station about maybe 2.5, 3 miles. And I walked on foot and I ran because my heart was so heavy. I couldn't get to touch my daughter.
And I hear you have a message for people in power regarding guns now.
I do. I want to finish that story because no parent should go through this. I want to just finish what, the experience. You do not know what feels until it's you.
Yes.
All those numbers that you show on the TV, a lot of people, they're here are mothers. What are we doing about this? What are we doing? Let's make sure that everybody listens. Let's make sure that everybody hears it. The whole world needs to hear that we women that have our children, we have a job. That job is to protect our children. That job is to protect our nation. That job is to protect our country. We cannot leave. We cannot let that go on. We have to stop it. Where I was asking earlier, where are those people after the shooting? Where are they? They needed to make a noise. I'm ready to make a noise about this, and I'm ready to stop it because no one knows what feels when you can't find your child, when you call her and you call her just not answering. When I went through it, it's just me that knows it. And I'm so sorry for those that lost the children actually.
Doing a little too much.
Died. I can actually hug my child. My child is here, and I gave her all this praise to the Lord. Our Father in heaven saved my child. But the other two mothers, they lost their kids, and the other teachers that died. Those people are suffering like I'm suffering. I'm very sorry for them. I'm very sorry that they lost their loved ones.
And you have a message for the people in power.
Yes, the people in power. Let's make it a change. Let's make it happen. Let's just not hear about this. Who wants to just hear about this? We gotta change it. We gotta make it happen.
And Doug, I hear you're not a registered Democrat, but you now say it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on when it comes to this issue. What change do you want to see now that it has affected your family?
Common sense. I think the first step would just be metal detectors in school.
I thought that was their uncle or son. That's his wife? I don't know. It's an interesting couple.
Make a budget, make a plan. And the people that say, well, we've never really done stuff like that before, I don't care. They didn't have metal detectors at airports at one time. They didn't have metal detectors at courthauses.
Metal detectors.
I think that if a child knew that he would get caught, the likelihood of him trying would be, there may be another target, but it wouldn't be us having to worry about schools being hardened.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that Doug has said it so eloquently, which is we just need to apply common sense. And look, I think for far too long on the issue of gun violence, some people have been pushing a really false choice to suggest you're either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away. I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. And I'm in favor of assault weapons bans, universal background checks, red flag laws. And these are just common sense. These are just common sense.
I thought it was so powerful at the convention when you said you have guns. No, at the debate.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If
And I thought
somebody
that was
breaks in
powerful.
my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, yes, I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
my staff will deal.
I love that she caught that. As I thought the other day, all right. I love this interview so far as has making me like Kamala more because she's seeming way more natural than that last interview she did, which was her first single interview. I love the fact that she said that because that's a natural thing to say. But then I love the fact that she caught it. She actually looked at the young girl and stuff. And you saw her eyes. Like, look at her eyes right here.
Somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, yes. I hear that.
Look right there. She looked at the girl and then she said,
I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
she said that right there. But then she keep laughing because she's a real person. So I dig that. I dig that. We'll talk about the gun stuff in a second.
But my staff will deal with that later.
But you have been a gun owner for a while.
See, I be liking the real stuff. That's why I mess with Trump because I like she real. I like that. I like.
Yes.
That.
But here's my point, Oprah, is that I'm not trying to take everyone's guns away. I believe in the Second Amendment. But we have to agree that, look, I did last fall a college tour with college-age young people. So I also did trade schools. And packed audience every time in their auditorium. And I would ask, please raise your hand if at any point between kindergarten and 12th grade you had to endure an active shooter drill. Almost every hand went up. It was bone-chilling.
Yeah, this is the way our kids are living. Yeah.
And think about it. I grew up, we had fire drills only. Well, I grew up in California. We also had earthquake drills. But the fact that our children are sitting in a classroom where they should be fulfilling their God-given potential and exploring the wonders of the world, and some part of their brain realizes somebody could bust through that classroom door with a weapon, with an assault weapon. And let's all.
She had to catch herself right there because we're gonna talk about why she had to catch herself right there. I'm happy she did because she's sharp. I can't say that, but she had to catch herself and say assault weapon.
Agree that
she couldn't just say weapon.
The trauma, so many children, even those who have not directly experienced the tragedy.
Just being in the environment. Being in the environment.
I cannot tell you the number of young people who, our kids had active shooter drills. They're concerned that there might be somebody who would kill them while they are at school. This is not the sign of a civil society, and it doesn't have to be this way. It does not have to be this way. But we need to have the courage to act. Look, my opponent, when he was told and knew about a shooting of a young girl, you know what he said? Get over it. Get over it. No, we're not getting over it. No, and to the point, everyone should have a sense of collective responsibility for the children of our community.
Yes.
And understand their right to live and be safe. I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I know, I've seen autopsies. I've seen what these weapons do to the human body. And we've got to agree that, in particular when we're talking about something like an assault weapon, it's literally designed to be a tool of war. It has no place on the streets of a civil society. It's designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly. And there are things we can do. Thankfully, over the last 3 years, we've done some, but it is common sense.
It just seems like common sense we would see this.
I think so.
I think that the majority of Americans agree with you that we do not want assault weapons in the hands of children and other people who have no business with those types of weapons.
Right.
We know this is true. So we thank you, Natalie, and your family for being here. And good luck in that marching band this year. I hear you're going to go out for the marching band still.
Thank you for inviting us.
Unfortunately,
it's a sad moment for us, but I wanted to make sure that, we came because we needed to be heard and we needed to, change has to be made, and we're ready to fight for this.
Thank you. Okay, we want to hear what's going on.
All right, real quick, guys. So about this gun ban. On the flip side, how y'all saw how passionate I got earlier about the abortion stuff, right? And I talked about how abortion, they're acting like they're about to just ban abortion, like Trump is going to just federally ban abortions. Like that's not the case at all. It's not happening. They'll still have access to it, but it's only up to 6 weeks. So you got limited access. On the flip side, when regarding Kamala Harris and the Democrats and about this assault rifle ban, that's why I said, because handguns is one thing. She's talking about assault rifles. That being said, when it comes to that, she's not going to ban all guns. It will be assault rifles and assault weapons, semi-automatics, automatics. I think stuff like that. Handguns will still be legal for the everyday person. Now, this is where I think it gets sticky, because your everyday gang member, your everyday person who's into illegal activities is still going to have assault rifles. I feel like the ban mainly affects your law-abiding citizens more than anybody else. And let me hear me out. Their thing is like, how would an assault rifle ban affect a school shooter? If this kid was caught with a handgun, he'd go to jail. No difference than if he's caught with an assault rifle. He's going to go to jail for both of them. The fact is, he didn't catch him. You hear what the father said, which I didn't know that was the father. Shout out to him. But the father, he said metal detectors. He said nothing about a ban. And that's why I say the Democrat Party is really good. This whole setup is really, really good, because they give you like a picture or like a backstory first. Then they got the people there, a real victim. And then it hits home emotionally. But if we're taking, emotional, like I said, I'm very empathetic, but I'm also logical. Emotions is why I voted against Trump in 2016, right? It was strictly emotion, no logic involved. In 2020, I was mainly just logic, no emotions. Now I'm mixing the two, right? So I understand that the way it actually affect them, that kid could still have access to an assault rifle, like regardless of what, he was 15. Him having an assault rifle has nothing to do with the ban. He was going to illegally get it no matter what. It's illegal. He got it illegal. So there still be illegal access to assault rifles, even if you nationally ban it. That being said, the best thing for school shooters is to have the metal detectors. But why don't they have metal detectors in schools? The biggest thing is, if you go to a nice school in a nice area, because they have metal detectors in schools, but it's only in like your inner city super hood school, right? Like a super hood school, they'll have a security guard wanting you, all kind of crazy stuff, right? You go to a suburb, a nice school, which I'm assuming this was a nicer area, only because they didn't have any they didn't have any metal detectors. If you go into a nicer area, they don't have them. If you go into a messed up area, they do have them. I think that the viewpoint has to be changed on that, because the way people look at that is like, there's a lot of violence that happens here. Is this why you guys have a lot of metal detectors? So maybe as far as enrollment percentage, recruiting wise, the school is like, I need this connotation, because these metal detectors come with a negative connotation that there's violence. Instead of it being, I think our perspective has to switch, that the metal detectors are actually violence preventing. They're preventing violence. They're not causing it. There's not a symbol. It's not a sign of violence. Right now, that's how it does work, though, right? Inner city school that's already had a pedigree of violence, you're going to have metal detectors, wands, security guards. A school that's, in the suburbs, no pedigree of violence, no serious violence anyway, gun talk, gunplay, none of that. You're going to have a regular walk into school. You can walk out of school whenever you want to. You're going to have one security guard. It might be a woman. Ain't even no man security guard. It's a woman. Like, they ain't taking it serious, because they don't think it can happen here, right? I think that what they've been said, the best outcome for stopping school shootings is like the father of the victim. He's the father of the victim. He mentioned nothing about assault rifles. The mother of the victim mentioned nothing about abandoning. She said, let's do this. Let's do this. They probably was, offered a little bit of money for their troubles. Come share your story kind of thing. I'm going to take care of you. Actually, they found a helping hand, somebody who actually embraced them. Whereas Trump, he hasn't taken this approach with anything. And that's hats off to the Harris team and the foundation and their whole squad for at least taking real life examples and showing it in the real world, and then trying to bring it back to politics at the end on how they're going to fix it. I feel like this has been really great. I said I was 52-48. After watching this, I'm 51-49, guys. I'm 51-49. I'm still in favor of Trump. But just regarding the Harris optics wise and just all of this, like I said, I don't even agree with everything that they say and everything they're doing. But their approach and the optics wise is just so, it's so well thought out. It's like, look, put it like this. I'm a Drake fan, right? But when Kendrick started dropping the 616 in LA on like the Canadian Independence Day, and just so much well thought and maneuver, I'm just like, oh my God, Drake, you got to do something. I'm feeling like that with Trump. Trump, you got to do something, bro. Like, you really, this was nice. This is a really great interview. I didn't agree with everything, but they well thought out, they well planned out, very natural. This is a great interview. Trump got to do something. He got to do something. He got to do something.
Going on in
All right, let's finish this off, and then I'm gonna get to the comments, and then we out of here, y'all.
Battleground state. Tracy is a regional organizing director in Nevada. Tracy, tell us how things are going for you. Hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tracy Lee, a regional organizing director in Nevada. I am the Silver State this year because there's so much on the line. From healthcare to lowering costs, these issues impact all of us. My team and I have been building relationships with voters across this state because here in Nevada, we know that enthusiasm alone does not win campaigns. Organizing does. So all of you watching tonight can become organizers, whether you talk to your sister, a roommate, or a grandparent about why you're so excited to vote for Vice President Harris. You are organizing and energizing other supporters. So please go to go.kamalaharris.com to find ways to help and enjoy the rest of tonight's event, and let's get to work.
Let's get to work. Let's do something.
Let's get the stepping, get the stepping, get the stepping. Hey.
Meryl Streep, hello. You and I. Hi, Meryl Streep.
She's a good actor. She looked the same for like the last 30 years. She's a good actor.
You and I talked about this moment.
She's like
How are you feeling?
Morgan Freeman. Always look the same in this movie.
How are you feeling about the momentum?
Oh man, this has been overwhelming to have the privilege to sit in and listen to the testimony of the people here. Hello, President Harris.
Not yet. 47 days.
47 days, yes.
From my mouth to God's ear. And hello, Oprah. I think the word of the day has been preventable. Preventable. All of this.
That hit home.
The surround of hatred and venom and toxicity and encouraging some segment of Americans.
The government need an audit. Elon Musk need an audit. So y'all weren't ready for that. That came out of nowhere, right? But no, the government does need an audit.
It's to hate other segment of Americans. It's just crazy. And nobody wants it. We're done.
That's right.
We're done with it. I wanted to ask you, I can't believe I have this opportunity. I probably never will again. If I have a little Debbie Downer moment, because actually, I think you're going to win. I'm sure you're going to win. But what happens when you win and he doesn't accept it? And you know that there's going to be this long slog of shenanigans. And I'm wondering how we get to that moment, how we preserve certification on January 6th. Because if it doesn't happen, it'll be maybe thrown back to the legislatures of the states. And I've been working with state government citizens campaign, which is sgcamerica.com. So they're great. They're doing the unglamorous down ballot work of promoting those candidates, because I'm worried about it, and I wonder if we're ready for January 7th, 8th, 9th, and what happens? What happens?
So we will be ready, but just taking a step back, and thank you, Marilyn, for just the gift that you give, your talent, your creativity. Thank you for being here. One of the things that I have realized in the course of our campaign is that more Americans than we may realize who voted for Trump before have decided January 6th was just a bridge too far. When we reflect and think about what January 6th was, where the President of the United States, sitting in the Oval Office, incited a mob, a violent mob, to attack the United States Capitol, such that 140 law enforcement officers were injured, some were killed. to try and upend a free and fair election where the American people voted, that was a bridge too far for a lot of people. And we have sadly now seen how far he could go. And I think there is absolutely no tolerance whatsoever for the vast majority of Americans for that. And they've seen the lies. They understand, for example, almost every court case, I think every court case where he's challenged an election, he lost. I said on the debate stage, look, because he's having a very difficult time, obviously, processing the fact that 81 million people fired him, right? But, so there is that, that it really was a bridge too far for so many people that they are not willing to repeat. But the other piece of it is the lawyers are working. It's very important that we all speak to our friends and our neighbors about misinformation and help them now see how it occurs, where it is occurring. It is important that we stand up for the integrity of poll workers and people who are working on election day. And that we also, and this is critically important, that we ask people to be alert about mis and disinformation, and we ask them, do not be afraid to vote. Because I think there is also something quite insidious about these attacks on the electorate in these various forms that are intended to convince people that their vote won't matter. And in that way, there's a little bit of reverse psychology going on here, and let's just make sure nobody falls for it. Your vote does matter, and we cannot let anyone ever take our power from us. We can never let anybody silence us. And when we get those votes out, starting soon, early voting is
no way they're comfortable on that bench. No way. Look at that.
It's already going to start. And when we get those
no
votes out, starting soon, early voting is already going to start this week, I think, through November 5th. And let's make sure everyone votes. And we are going to have a good election day. We're going to fight for the integrity of the people's voice and for our democracy. And, you know, I'll just mention earlier, a couple of folks talked about what this means in terms of the world. You know, as vice president, I've met over 150 world leaders, presidents, prime ministers, chancellors, and kings. And the thing about representing the United States of America is when we walk in those rooms around the world, we have historically and traditionally been able to walk in those rooms, chin up, shoulders back, with the self-appointed and earned authority to talk about the importance of democracies. People around the world are watching right now. Because you see, the thing about walking into a room and being a role model is people watch what you do to see if it lines up with what you say. And in that way, the consequences of this election are directly going to impact the American people and people around the world. That's what we're fighting for, and those are the stakes. And that's why we're going to win, because we know what we're fighting for. Because we know what we stand for.
Thank you, Meryl. So, thank you, Meryl. What is on your heart to say to the American people as we have 47 days until November 5th? What's on your heart? To say to particularly those people who are still undecided or maybe indifferent or on the fence still?
We love our country.
She's talking to us right here, y'all. Let's see what you guys say.
I love our country. I know we all do. That's why everybody's here right now. We love our country. We take pride in the privilege of being American. And this is a moment where we can and must come together as Americans, understanding we have so much more in common than what separates us. Let's come together with the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being, because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism, is to fight for the ideals of who we are, which includes freedom to make decisions about your own body, freedom to be safe from gun violence, freedom to have access to the ballot box, freedom to be who you are and just be, to love who you love openly and with pride, freedom to just be. And that's who we are. We believe in all that. And so this is a moment where we stand knowing what we are fighting for. We're not fighting against. It's what we're fighting for.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Vice President. Thank you. And I want to say, thank you, Madam Vice President. I also want to say, thank you, Joe Taker. Thank you, Joe Taker. Who started the gatherings on Zoom and all of the grassroots. Now, each of you listening tonight, you become your own grassroots organization to go forward and do something, coming together for the largest Zoom call we've all ever had. Thank you so much. I just want to say, for all of you watching who are still on the fence, you're in the middle, you're independent as I am, or whether you're just still don't know what you're going to do. This is the moment for all decent people, all caring people who want the best for yourself and you want the best for other people. This is the moment for people who are tired of all of the bickering and all of the name calling, people who are exhausted by the craziness and the made up stories and the conspiracies. This is the moment. You want to get on with your life because you know that we can do better and that we deserve better. You know this. I know you know this. I know you feel this. I know this is what you're saying amongst yourselves. It's in all the conversations that we're having, that you're having. And we're better than this. We're better. We're better. And we want to create a world where our children will be safe in school again. And as my friend and mentor Maya Angelou always said, when you know better, you got to do better. Thank you. So let's do better and vote for Kamala Harris. Thank you to all of our special guests. Thank you for sharing your stories, for being here, Ms. Shanat, Vice President Harris. We thank you. We hope you keep fighting for us and the country we deserve to have. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, Big Steppers, as promised, we played it all the way through. And if you rocked out with me to the very end, I surely appreciate you. All right, so let's go ahead and take a deep dive here, man. We've already done a deep dive. We did everything. I just want to do a quick overview. In conclusion, I feel like it was a great interview. I feel like what made the interview great, as much as she did, she did good herself. She stood her own ground. But a lot of it had to do with the actual setup, right? So them coming from the screen, showing us a backstory, giving us people there, and then going back into the political vibes, right? I feel like overall, I'm still, 51. Like I said, I'm not still, but I'm now 51%, 49%. I am an independent. I consider myself that, right? So I'm not married to either side of it. This being said, I feel like today we did a great job at just getting the message out there from the standpoint of actually learning about these candidates. So oftentimes we judge on who we vote for just based off the headline, based off race, based off identity politics. Let's actually get to the heart of knowing a little bit more about their pedigree, knowing a little bit more about how they, interact, and how they even how to try to BS us, right? Because like I learned with her, today she's a politician, just like all of them are. Of course, they're bringing these people in to show stories, and they really harped on the school shooting thing, which, like I said, everybody wants schools to be safe. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody want that. Independents, everybody wants that. Now, everybody has different ideas on how to get it done. And regarding working for the American people, we have to be sure that we're putting the American people first. That being said, nobody's going to put you first like you. And that's what I want to say here at the very end. No matter who you vote for, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, that's why I'm independent. Nobody will put your needs, your wants, your advancements, achievements, your progression. Nobody will make that a priority except for you. So that means you got to vote for whatever party most aligns with who you are, what you stand for, what you want and what you need out of life. If you want to vote for Kamala Harris because she's black, then I feel sorry for you. Not because how does she actually relate to you is what I mean. If the only relation you have is that she's black, then that's what I mean, because that means that you need to educate yourself more on what she has to offer, what she can possibly offer you in your personal life, or at least what they saying they can offer, because we all know that they're going to say what they're going to say. What they do is different, and that's what we have to be judging them off of. This being said, you vote for who you want to vote for. Here at the Get the Stepping podcast, at the Get the Stepping show, we just bringing you the information, right? We're not the source of it. We're a vessel of the information. So just bringing you the information, getting out there and having great conversations is what we're here for. I appreciate you guys rocking out with me. The stream has been 2 hours and 30 minutes today. This has been the longest stream I've done so far. And be sure to tune back in tomorrow, because we'll be right back. And also, we will clip this up and get the clips out too. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in, man. Until next time, as always, I'm your host, S2. And let's do it different. I messed up. Y'all, dang, stay with me. Don't back out already. All right. Until next time, as always, you know what to do, man. Get the stepping, get the stepping, get the stepping.